Go ahead.
We good? We're live?
Indeed.
All right, everyone.
Woo!
Welcome back to the Community Roundtable, the Retro Arcade Edition, here in the Gumdolph Kingdom. My name is Wild Paparazzi, joined always by our gracious host, Gumdolph the Grey. What is up, Vinny?
Not much, man. How are you? How have you been?
I've been good. You're fresh back to Syracuse off your Evo trip.
Yep.
Can't wait to hear all about it.
It was mad fun.
But tonight, we have some special guests in the booth talking about some old school arcade stuff along with the fighting game stuff. So, Vinny, why don't you do the introductions to our friends here in the booth?
Okay. So we have some of the older gentlemen of our community tonight. So first off, you've all heard this man before. We have a Retro Happy Hour, aka Gerodius, on all platforms. What's up?
Herodius on
Hey,
all accounts.
how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
Good, good.
And then you
Thanks for joining
just heard him in the background with Gatekeeper Steve.
Thanks for turning
Ooh.
some board kids.
You ain't allowed to play unless you can beat that man in Virtual Fighter.
Who's looking to get kept?
And then
You shall not pass.
our final guest tonight is the Syracuse FGC Godfather himself, DJ Silence Kenyon. What's up, my friend?
You.
Hello.
You heard him
Classic.
for like a millisecond. He said hello.
Classic.
Hello. How's it going, yo?
Great. Thank you all for joining.
Hanging
tonight.
in.
It counts, Joe. You're good.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So, as Rick said, tonight is the arcade edition. These gentlemen, along with myself, spent some time in the arcades as a kid. So, we'll have some arcade-related questions in the show tonight.
Sweet.
Pretty excited.
But
Gonna be some old memories.
like all tables, all round tables, the very first question is, what was the first fighting game you ever played?
Okay.
Ever played? Ever touched? Arcade, console, the very first game you ever picked up and just played.
You talking 1v1?
Just
like
fighting game. Any fighting
Okay,
game.
are we talking like, okay, it's just like we just happened to see it like in the arcade for the first time, went ooh, and just popped our
No,
quarter in
like-
randomly as a kid?
As far as your memory goes back, the very first fighting game you ever played. Not
Let me go first.
seriously, just
would a
Okay.
just
would a
played.
beat 'em up count or no?
Oh
'Cause
god, that had to be
I go way back.
Hit Fighter, I
No,
think.
I'll stick to my guns on this one. It's got to be a fighting game.
Okay.
Let
For
me
me,
let me go
it was,
first.
Yeah,
Mortal
that's Pit
Kombat.
Fighter
Let's-
for me.
Let's hear Kenyon first.
Okay.
We get an idea because the first thing that came to mind was a fighting game. The very first would be boxing on Atari 2600 when I was like 5 or 6.
That's
Wow.
a damn good answer.
Like that. Like I remember playing that with my brother and him beating the crap out of me. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I
Who
have.
was actually like played it where you
Nah.
had those guys that kind of look like I don't know, like a symbol on your keyboard, but that top down view. Playing that was like back and forth with my brother. Actually, he beat me up back and forth on that game.
Man. Boxing. Okay.
Boxing Atari 2600.
Gerodius, what about you?
I would say like traditional. I mean, I played boxing, but that was like when I was much older. What was this game called Karate? I think it was just called Karate on the Atari 7800. I think it was a
Karate.
7800.
Yep. I actually have a copy of that in the store.
Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir Gatekeeper, what about you?
I believe the first like actual fighting game I think I touched was Pit Fighter in the arcade, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's actual real people!" Like I was just a little kid and dumb.
That's what I said when I saw it.
Like, and it was just so like crazy violent. I'm like, "This is amazing!" And but you know, you always play it like away from like your parents, just in case they're wandering around the arcade.
Man.
Good answers.
That's one of my favorites, Steve. Pit Fighter.
Classics, man.
Right, so the traditional second question: what's what's the fighting game that actually got you into wanting to play them? Like, what was the game that triggered you to be like, I definitely want to play fighting games?
Are you calling people out?
Oh, whoever wants to answer first.
I'll just say it was Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis.
The first one?
Yeah, the
Very
first one.
cool.
Yeah,
Who'd you play in that game?
I loved Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it was I was living in Manhattan at the time, and Street Fighter 2 had first finally dropped, like the arcade cabinet, and like almost every corner store and bodega and their mama ended up getting this thing. But it was so hard to find a cabinet with every button still intact. I don't know what people were doing before I would get out of school or whatever, but there was always something missing somewhere. It was always annoying, and there was always these giant ass lines. But every once in a while, like on the weekend, you can sneak in there real quick, but then the kids would already have so much more knowledge of the glitches and stuff. There'd be one kid, and he would routinely put the guile handcuff glitch on me, and then the corner store is yelling at him, "Oh, what did you do that for? You said it." Like, it was always hilarious. But like, that was the first one. I want to say I was like blown away. Like, okay, I have to start learning how to actually play these things.
All right. I like that answer.
Yeah,
about you, Kenyon?
Mine's goes along with Steve's. I want to add that I was playing Street Fighter 1 in the arcade whenever I would see it as a kid. Like, I was like, anything that had like ninjas, martial arts, movies, and just to see like the first Street Fighter arcade, like one-on-one, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Any arcade, I would always find it and there was nobody playing. But what really got me into playing was when I saw Street Fighter 2. And actually, the first game, I swore it said Fighting Street on the marquee. It didn't say Street Fighter.
You know what's funny?
So-
If you look up pictures, it actually did. I know that for
Okay.
a fact.
Yeah, so like when I saw Street Fighter 2, I was like, wasn't that game called Fighting Street? It looks similar, and the guy Ryu, he's like, his hair's not red anymore, but he's throwing a fireball. And I was like, this must be the sequel. And the ability to choose, more than just Ryu, I was like, okay, great. I actually saw people playing that. I never saw people, side to side playing the first Street Fighter. It would just be me hopping on. But Street Fighter 2, when that appeared on the arcade, like, you always saw people on that.
So we got 2 Street Fighters and a Mortal Kombat.
Pretty sick. Pretty sick answers. Pretty cool way to start.
But let me go back to so I asked Jeremy this. I mean, he played Sub-Zero. That's what drew him there. But for you guys, for Steve and Kenyon, what was the characters you guys like to play in those Street Fighter games? What was the character that you were drawn to in that game?
I feel like for me, it was Blanca in the beginning. I don't know what it was about. Like he just looked like such a weird character to me back when I was like 11, 12 years old. I'm like
Yeah.
Why is there this like beast man just fighting and electrocuting people? Like, this is kind of cool. I didn't know how to do the ball or anything. I just knew, okay, mash button and electric comes out.
Yeah, for me, it was Guile.
Relay.
Guile.
Sweet.
It's like, you had the military thing going on. I had my GI Joes and my dog tag that I wore like as a kid.
Yeah.
My father got me a dog tag, and I was like, God, and he held up when he won. He held up his dog tag, so I was like, yeah, that guy was
Okay.
good. I mean, played with everybody, but I was always playing with Guile. Then he told me to
Yeah.
go home and be a family man. I lost as a
Yeah.
kid. I was like, what?
One final question on this topic of your favorite fighting games and then the first characters you played. Which special move was the coolest for your characters? Jeremy, you can go first.
Well, I don't think you could do it in MK1, but like with Sub-Zero is the one where you can like freeze and jump backwards, something like that.
Oh, the clone. Yeah.
Yeah, the clone. I don't think that was an MK1. I think that was an MK2 thing. But yeah, I mean, MK1 was pretty simple. Just kind of like the freeze and then uppercut. Back
Very
then.
cool.
But I was very strategic, and that character kind of allowed me to do that.
Awesome.
And I thought Scorpion was overused.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, how about you?
For me, it was like it wasn't so much more like I like the electricity over everything. For me, it was actually just the regular head bite throw, because like there's just something about him. Like, oh my god, he's biting his face. This is crazy.
Yeah.
What's up,
Okay,
Mikey?
cool. Kenyon, what about you?
I mean, I want to say that I had to think about it for a second because I was like, did I like the Sonic Boom or did I like the Flash Kick more? But what I remember always trying to do, and I don't know if it's a special move, is try to catch the opponent in the air and do like the backbreaker.
Oh yeah,
oh
air
yeah,
grab.
the air throw. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that I was always trying to pull off, like in the middle of the screen. I just wanted to do a backbreaker. So I would say
That's
that
fair.
one. I don't know if
Cool.
that's special, but it was special to me. I could barely do it.
Yeah, no, it's special.
Oh. We're gonna
All
get
right,
into
cool.
the hard questions now.
Break your back.
These are gonna make
Break-
you think.
The break your back questions now.
All right.
What is your favorite fighting game of all time?
Oh, what a tough question.
Here you go.
I mine came easy, to be perfectly honest.
God
Oh.
damn it!
Okay.
But I can start with that one.
Yeah, you can. You already know your
I
answer,
thought you-
so
I thought he was
Alright.
starting off.
So
I was
and it's like a combination of things that always leads me to this one, to just be able to right off the jump just say, yep, definitely that one. Soul Calibur 2.
I kind of figured
Nice.
you were gonna say that.
Mm?
After
I like,
after you said I already know the answer, I'm sitting here like I've talked to him before. He loves Soul Calibur 2. So
yeah, I get that, and like we had such a great group of people up here, like between the arcade and just like outside the arcade, like when the console version hit, and like we would all just get together, and like it's a really nice large group, kind of like the large groups that we have now. Just different crowd back then, but man, like such good memories from that
Okay.
game.
Soul Calibur 2.
Of course, it always makes me sad too when I think about it, because like at least like 90% of those, the old crowd, like I don't even, who knows? Hopefully they're doing well wherever they are. But most of them definitely aren't in the city anymore. Some moved back to China. One I think is in Connecticut somewhere, and the rest are all spread out. But
Jeremy, what about you?
For me, it would be the original Killer Instinct, both
Nice,
like
nice,
the
nice.
arcade and the Super Nintendo one. I mean, the arcade scene was pretty good with that, because that came out like in, I guess, like probably the peak of the '90s with fighting games. But like for me with the Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo, I had the X-Band modem. I don't know if anybody remembers those things from back in the day, and I used to
Yeah.
just play Killer Instinct as much as I could online with that modem.
oh wow,
And I actually beat one of the developers. At least they say they were one of the developers. They did some X-Band promotion, and they sent me a watch as a result. And of course,
cool.
I was
Nice,
playing
nice.
Spinal.
That's
when I did
awesome.
that. Yeah. No, I would say Killer Instinct. I had the most nostalgia for that.
Man, that's sick.
Like crazy,
Yeah.
crazy story. Imagine beating the developer of your favorite game and them sending you some shit.
Yeah,
Right.
The watch fell apart. Like
Jeremy, now what year was this? Do you remember just about when that was?
Oh, maybe 95. It was like right before the N64 was coming out, and I was like stoked for Killer Instinct 2 or Gold or whatever.
So you're pretty much talking like the birth of the internet.
Yeah,
that
like
year,
the
you know?
X-Band modem was out for maybe 2 years, but it was awesome because you're playing online, and it was just amazing. You could do that with a 36 whatever baud modem on a Super Super Nintendo. It was pretty cool, and it was like affordable
Crazy.
too. Like it might have been like $10 a month or something
Wow.
to do local, but you'd have to pay like long because it was a modem. You had long distance if you wanted to call people across the country.
Crazy. That's awesome though.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's cool. So, Kenyon, I don't believe that answer that you typed into the chat, but I could be wrong. Who is it?
Who did I type in the chat?
Yeah,
I said,
Go ahead.
I said Spawn.
You're a liar.
How am I lying? Is it Heihachi? Is it Link? No, it's Spawn.
Okay.
It's Spawn. Somebody asked the question who's
Spawn from
best-
what?
Spawn from the comic books for Soul Calibur on the Xbox.
Okay. I wanted to see what game you were gonna say. That's all.
Oh.
All right.
But you,
All right. How?
I didn't answer the actual the question.
No.
What was the question again? Can you repeat the tough question?
Oh, my brain.
All-time favorite fighting
Yeah.
game.
It would be
It's Spawn.
Spawn's the coolest.
Ruin that question. That was the next question. You already ruined that. We have to skip that one now.
Bring out another
Shuffle it back
one.
in the deck.
You have to figure out another one. I have 3 come to mind, but I would say, for me, Tekken 2.
Okay.
All right, good choice. Good choice.
Tekken 2. I remember, I'm not sure if I got it or a friend had it or he rented it, but we used to play it at my high school friend's home. His father was a diplomat for Nigeria. And there's this huge house. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a huge house with a pool in the back. And some friends from high school was like, "Yeah, come on, you should come over. Sleep over his house, whatever." And we just go to his house. We play Manhunt in his backyard, and all that late at night. And then we put in Tekken 2. I think we rented it first, because you can rent them from like Blockbuster or whatever it was back then. You can rent the whole system and grab the game with it. And me and my friends, we went back and forth. My character was June. My good friend who I still talk to now, Wild Bill, his character was King. So we went
Hey, I
back
met
and
Wild
forth.
Bill.
Yes, yeah, he actually came. What was that? 2019.
Retro-
He came to Retro Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for him coming and seeing all the people playing, Tekken, he was like, wow, like, because we used to play it back in the day and have grudge matches. We even had a grudge match that year. We won't talk about how it went for him, but if he's listening. But yeah, that game, I had played it over and over. I remember when the first one came out on PlayStation, saw that at a different friend's house, and I was like, wow. And then 'cause, things are starting to be 3D, and like, oh, the graphics. So that second one, it was a lot smoother. There was a training mode. It's like training mode in the fighting game. So yeah, Tekken 2.
Man, I love hearing all these stories. This is awesome.
I gotta say this one because it's related. I remember getting so shafted when it came to like the PS1 version of Tekken. Let me tell you. Okay, so I didn't have a PS1 yet, right? But I was trying to drop Mom the hints and stuff. Like, hey,
Mom, come on, Mom.
Right? So, like, in advance, right? She didn't even say yes yet. I bought the game myself.
Oh, the preemptive buy. Okay.
Right? So I'm just kind of like, just kind of trying to give her a hint.
Now
And
you
she
got
comes-
incentive to buy it, Mom. Come on. What am I gonna do?
You
Not play
know,
this game?
Then she comes. Then this is how I knew like this was the last day like I would ever like, or should I say, this is when I realized I would not be spoiled anymore, like at all. Like she came back with a job application the next day. She's like, "You're gonna work you're gonna work at my place. You're gonna do this."
Oh, you thought that.
I was like, "Oh, okay." But I got that PlayStation eventually. But the problem was the week after Tekken 2 came out,
Oh,
I was so mad.
Oh,
I kept both those games though, let me tell you, because you could still listen to the music for Tekken 1 like through the CD, and King George Island just hit me different, man, I'm telling you.
and that was a time when you didn't know like release dates, really.
Yeah!
And if you had like a Game Pro or like Electronic Gaming Monthly, you read those. I try to read it. Like I'd grab anything from the bookstore, Barnes and Nobles, or there was a different bookstore then, but you wouldn't know when a game was coming out. You might know like
Yeah,
a
you had
month
no idea.
or a season, but like you didn't the exact day, other than when they said Mortal Kombat Mortal Monday. I don't remember them ever having like a street date where you knew as a kid.
right? You just pop in a store one day. Holy, what is this?
Oh, yeah. What's that? It's there.
Yeah.
You know.
And
I remember those days.
Few people do.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Even the younger people.
Man,
you can go,
like
you can go. I mean, they're announcing stuff with
like-
the date. People get mad they don't know the date.
Like I'd go, like say you go to the mall when FYE was still a thing around here.
Oh
You
yeah.
walk in and it'd have the movie posters of like the video game and the date, and I'd see them and I'd just be like, I gotta buy this fucking game. Like, I miss that. The days of not being spoiled by data miners are over. Can't be hyped for anything anymore.
Oh, I'm telling you,
I try to avoid it, but
it makes it so difficult.
That's the old man in me coming out.
Another thing I miss about like the game stores is like back when GameStop was Electronics Boutique, like they had game CDs, they had import games, they had a whole like just the most random things you could think of. Like I didn't know they actually made a Final Fantasy 8 card game. Like that was real. They actually made that. Like I bought like a couple of packs. That was like a random purchase in the store. I'm like, wait a minute, that's. And I bought like 9 packs in the same day.
And didn't they let you like play almost anything first before you bought it?
Yeah,
I remember
they,
the
they,
one,
had-
like, in
they would
Great
always
Northern
have
had
the
a
test play
TV.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I first got to play Ninja Gaiden, and that was the downward spiral for another day. But
So, Kenyon, if you want to jump into the game there, you two can start playing, and the questions get harder when you start playing.
All right, sweet.
Yes.
Because you got to think about the game and the question. Yeah. Well, alright, so, next big question. We just did, favorite game of all time. Who's your favorite character of all time? You don't even have to play this character. You just think this character is the sickest thing ever in a fighting game. And it's leagues beyond everyone else. Every character ever designed, this character just rises to the top.
it could be gameplay wise, could
Yep.
be aesthetic wise.
Story, backstory. We had some good KI answers for backstories, so backstory is a big factor. Like what? Cinder's like a war criminal in one game and then something else in another.
Yeah, he was a convict in one game, and then in the other one,
Versus,
he's
like, the newest
he's
one,
a
the
military
mercenary or
guy.
something like that?
Yeah. Yep, military background. I like the convict story. To be honest with you, he gets experimented on and whatnot, and then the other one, he kind of does like the Captain America style thing where he experiments, sacrifices himself to an experiment, and becomes infused with alien technology, and he becomes Cinder. It's awesome.
Cinder.
We'll let Steve answer first, so these two can play and think at the same time.
It's tough.
Okay.
It is tough. This has been. I've been told by everyone that's really done this. This is like the hardest question to answer.
Yeah, because there's so many fighting game characters, you know.
Sickest character. I'm thinking
I
like
feel like I want to do like
favorite
one
character,
aesthetic
bro.
and one gameplay
So-
with this one.
So, aesthetic is later. Don't answer that one. That's a totally
Okay.
different question. That has two
okay,
parts
got
to
it. So game. If we're just talking like the way they play.
Overall package.
Oh, overall package.
Yes,
All right,
this is
let's
the
see.
overall
If I-
package.
I'm-
I'll place
I'm
it like that.
thinking-
Overall package, the best character you think ever has been made.
ever
I'm
made.
thinking
Yep.
overall package. Let's see.
Ever made. This is your favorite character of all time. Don't even have to play the character. My favorite character of all time. I don't even play the character, so.
This one is requiring
Uh-huh.
quite a bit of thought. Let's see.
I think didn't I say Xrd Leo?
Yeah, you said Xrd Leo.
Yeah, dude, they're cool. Love that character. Recaps, you know,
Like,
big damage, Rekkas,
I came up with this question and it was hard for me to answer, so.
makes his own words, his own dictionary.
He's so cool, he became my pocket character in Strive.
That's right.
And then Jeremy and Kenyon, if you two have your answers before Steve does, go ahead and answer.
I was gonna say mine would be Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
That's a good answer.
Like I just
Oh.
like the story.
Thunder
It's,
God.
it's just like a bad like movie. The whole Mortal Kombat stuff. I just think like Raiden being like the Thunder God, gathering all these martial artists from all over the world to fight the Nether Realm, and
Fight on behalf of Earthrealm.
yeah, like I actually bought like Mortal Kombat 11 pretty late in its life, and I was like this, going through the story, and I was like, oh no. So I went to like GameStop and bought like the PS3 I bought all the Mortal Kombat so I can follow the story.
Dang, I didn't know you were such a big MK head.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not like a nerd about it, but it was like the story's too good for me not to know what happened in the previous 2 games.
Yeah.
It was like a complete reboot, and plus like I played all the old Mortal Kombats, so it's like seeing like what happened to like what was that, the temple or whatever. I don't know, it was just neat.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Oosh.
I'm doing terrible.
Definitely have to think about that. I'm trying to remember the buttons playing this game at the same time. So I'm like,
Buttons.
I mean, for me, I'm going to say Cody
Okay.
from Street Fighter, and the reason I go with him is because I remember playing him. I mean, I don't know what came first. Was it Final Fight or Street Fighter 2, or just in general? I think Final Fight was supposed to be Street Fighter 2, wasn't it?
I think so, and then
Originally?
they changed it.
Yeah, originally.
Final-
Yeah.
Yeah, Final Fight came first, and then Cody was first in Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha.
So like Cody, he's obviously in Final Fight. I loved that beat 'em up in the arcade when it came out, and to see him in that game and play him and be all about Final Fight, and then whenever Alpha came out, like, oh, Cody's in it. Why is he wearing jail, fatigues?
Shackles.
Like he's in like shackle. I'm like, what what? My favorite character, or one of my favorites from my favorite fighting game beat 'em up is wearing. He went to jail. What? And he's a has-been. And yeah, I was kind of stumped on that one, but I liked the character. I used him and I played with him in Alpha, and it just to see his transition from beating up the gang to trying to save his girlfriend to going to jail, and then Street Fighter 5. Now he's the mayor of Metro City.
Now he's the mayor.
That's
Yep,
like
he
a- that's a-
moved up.
That's an inspirational arc, if you will.
Yeah, a rags to riches story.
Yeah, you can go from a,
Right?
from a convict to the mayor of the town. Come on.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, that character. Just seeing him progress from. I was gonna say fighting in the street, fighting in prison, fighting for the city. There you go.
I think for me, if I was to narrow it down, like at least from the first time I saw him in like the second of this one series onward, you'll know who this is in a second. Like I was just like, oh, I can't use him for shit. But like, there's just something about him, like the I don't know, he has this like violent aura about him, but he also looks amazing.
Okay.
Genshiro
Okay.
from Samurai Showdown. There's always something about him. He come in with that long old hat and then throw it off, and he just looks like angry like all the time. Like I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah.
But he was cut like everywhere. He was like a workout motivation back then. You know. What I mean? It's like I want to get that cut and just walk around, through the bamboo real quick.
Man.
But I can never use him for anything. Yeah, like I was always like in awe every time I see him. Like, oh, that dude's so cool. Why is he so cool looking?
Is he
Like,
is he in the
like
new one?
that.
Is he in the new Samurai
Yeah.
Shodown?
Yeah, but I can't use him, so I defaulted back to Ukyo.
Okay.
But Ukyo was really good in the newest one, so
Is that
I
the
guess
character
did good there. But
that drinks the tea in the bowl and throws it over his shoulder?
yeah,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
or drinks it out of his hat.
I
Yeah,
would say that. Yeah, I forgot about that character. He would have been on my. He'll be one of my top 2 with Cody.
And that stance is like he looks so pissed, but he's so relaxed at the same time. Like his back's all super arched, like dude, I'm on my lunch break. Like I'm already angry.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that pick. That was a good one. That's a good one.
And he would have like the most badass like after victory art, like too. Whenever he beats him, when they do like the little close up thing, I'm like, oh my god.
All right, so Steve already had thought to the next. We'll do this one next. Who is the most aesthetically pleasing fighting game character of all time?
Aesthetically
Alright.
pleasing.
I gotta say it. And believe it or not, it's not even like one of the female characters. KOF 96 Robert Garcia.
Okay.
like when he's wearing like it looks like not like silk pants, but those things are like they're like the reflection, like the shiny is just popping off. Like he's just, as the kids say, dripping. Like everywhere, just dripping style. Like what? Like I just came out of the runway. I'm gonna beat your ass real quick. And I'm gonna go back and walk it. Like, there was just something about him, but he kept changing, like little by little, And now he looks like what's his face? Orlando Bloom. But oh well, what can you do? The mustache gotta go for the next game, I think. But
Alright. That was an answer I never thought I'd hear.
I'm
Just to
telling
be
you.
honest with you. Interesting. What about you two? Who's the most aesthetically pleasing character?
Aesthetically pleasing.
I guess I'm gonna go back to Mortal Kombat, like MK2 Kung Lao with the hat and
Yeah, he was
I don't
Yeah,
know,
the
like
best, yeah.
yeah, he got me to stop playing Sub-Zero. I just thought he was just awesome. I was disappointed they turned him into a zombie later.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, that was a dark era, dark times.
he was a revenant and he looked cool.
Zombie.
Oh man.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing, Kenyon. Who is it? All time.
Now I'm trying to think of all the
Any character,
different
any
games.
game, any variation.
But you said any character, any. Well,
Yep, any fighting game character out of any fighting game. Like you see this character on screen and it's like the most pleasing thing you see.
most pleasing thing.
Yep.
You know who used to be the most pleasing? Was still is, Orchid from Killer Instinct.
Answer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I like that. I like the answer.
Indeed.
That one.
Now let's flip it. Who's the ugliest motherfucker in fighting game history?
Kusari Geto. Samurai Showdown 5, I think. He was that weird looking. He was like almost the height of the whole screen. Yeah,
the
and
big
he had
red
that move
guy.
where you go and just slap his hand on the ground. Yeah,
the
that
big,
dude
the big red monster
was.
thing.
Yeah,
That
he was
thing
creepy.
is
He had
so
like the
ugly.
hair like on the side of his head, but the rest of his bald. He had his giant head. And like I was like, what is this character?
Character is disturbing.
Yeah. But that's my vote right there, cause like I would play 5. Whenever I got to him, I was like always mildly creeped out, like no, bro. Then you find out his backstory and like, oh, you're actually a scumbag too. Like, oh, that's even creepier.
Oh man. What about you guys?
Something
Son?
about like he was kidnapping children, I guess. I'm like, what is going on with this character?
Yeah, that character is whack. We'll go to Jeremy. Jeremy, who's the ugliest fighting game character of all time?
Baraka.
Damn it!
I
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I would say Baraka. I mean, there's so many fighting games, but for some reason I'm focused on Mortal Kombat right now. But yeah, him, he just the mouth, I don't know,
Yeah,
the costume.
especially the second game, definitely. I can always see his box like, oh, dude, like, oh.
Yeah, not just like the special effects they did. I mean, nothing about him I liked.
Or Baraka.
Yeah.
Yeah. That goes for me,
Kenyon,
too.
we all know you were gonna say Baraka, but not who's the
Go on.
second ugliest character?
Okay.
Ooh.
Second ugliest.
Because obviously you think Baraka's number one as well, so I need a different answer.
Okay. Let me think. I'm
There's a
thinking
lot.
who-
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of ugly son of a bitches in fighting games.
Yeah, but Baraka took the surprising cake. You know, I'm gonna go with we'll just keep it in the family. We'll go with Melina.
Oh,
That was
She
going to be my
takes
second choice.
when she takes the mask off.
Yeah.
Because that was a shocker playing it, playing it in the arcade or first seeing Baraka in that game, like what, and who was he supposed to be? You gotta wait till EGM
Right,
comes
but at
out
least you know
to
what you're
find
getting,
out.
yeah, because you see it. Yeah, with Melina, it's just like you're like, yeah. At first, before you see that mask come down, you're like, oh,
Yeah, no, you're
ah,
like,
and it's like
whoa.
mask come down, like, no,
And to see like
I
her,
was wrong.
her ending with her like graphic like with Baraka in the background is like, oh, she's part of his.
the Tarkatans.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's like, yeah. So we go, yeah, Melina.
Okay.
Okay.
Great answers. Rick, you have any? I have one more question relating to this like FGC topic. If you have any questions you want to ask, I'll let you go first.
In regards to like, are we getting into the arcade stuff?
We're gonna be getting into the arcade stuff next. Yes, after this last question that I have. I know I asked many to other people, but I'm more interested.
What's-
like the arcade questions? I want answers.
What is and I asked this I think to the Smash guys, what is a fighting game that you always wanted to get into but for whatever reason haven't put any time into, or maybe haven't even you played it at all, but you've always thought it was cool and you were like, you know what, that would be something pretty sick and I'd like to invest some time into? Like for me, to give you like some starter fluid here, for me it would be Marvel 3. I always think that game looks really, really awesome. But I've tried to put some time into it, but never have been able to do so. But I would always love to learn it. What do you guys think?
For me, I would say I wish I had spent more time with Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Like I didn't get to spend too much time with that one because it was on the Wii, and I was like, I'm not buying the Wii just to play that game. But it's in one of the cabinets at Round 1, like those Round 1 arcades.
Yep.
So like every time I go down there, I got to at least play it once. But I'm trash at it.
I used to play Yatterman in that game.
My team was Tekkaman Blade and Morgan.
How did Jeremy go with that
Chat's
one?
got
Still
some good
thinking.
answers too. Joe says he wished he could get into Fighter Z. It's a good answer.
Oh, I grabbed that when it was like a super sale on PSN not too long ago. I mean, for me, it's Smash. Like, I would love to get into that, but I just can't. I don't get it. I tried playing it.
Okay.
But yeah, but like a lot of people, like I used to work at a company where they actually had like a Smash club, and I would just try to play, and I don't know, I just couldn't get it. But I love watching it, and I just wish I could put the time to learn it.
There's something about that game that just... Now, I'm normally a calm dude and can like control my irritation half the time, more than half the time, pretty laid back. But there's something about Smash specifically. I know I'm not trying to play it like professionally or anything like that. I'm just playing casuals, and I just feel myself getting irritated when I lose playing that game for some reason. There's something that trips off in my head. I don't know what it is. I'm like I don't know, because part of me is like, okay, a lot of people consider this a fighting game. Okay, cool. But then there's like the other part of me that's like, this kind of looks like a kid's game, but it's not. And I'm like, why am I losing at this game? It's like two conflicting things. It's Gemini problems, I guess. But
Fair enough.
but I'm just like, oh, like I had to trade my 3DS back because I had the Smash version on there, and yeah, I almost threw a 3DS at one point. I'm like, okay, it's time to let the
Rage-inducing.
go.
Yeah. Man.
Something about it, I don't know, man.
I can't envision you being angry. You're too nice of a person.
Right?
I just can't get back to the fighting, whatever you want to call
To
the
the
platform. Like when I cannot just grapple whatever to get back. Like once I fall off, I'm done unless I'm like Kirby. That's always took me off, and I'll like watch videos on how to do it with a specific character I'm playing, and I was just like, I don't know how they do it. I didn't press jump, I didn't jump, but it didn't let me jump. I'm like, I don't
Man.
know.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What about you, Kenyon?
It's a long time coming now. With the fighting game stuff, like I get a copy of pretty much every game that the group community wants to play, and I play it to some degree, just so I know what's going on, how it feels and whatnot. So there's not much I haven't touched, but I guess for like an older title, I wish I had more time playing. It would be Tekken Tag 2,
Damn good game.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
because I had the Tekken 2, Tekken 3, 4. Once they started coming out like that, I started to buy them maybe like a year later. I didn't buy them like the same day. I'd mess around a little bit, but I never bought Tekken Tag 2, and I had a friend here local who bought it. He was playing that. Went over to his place and he was really good at it. I hadn't played it. I was trying to play all my old characters, and just that was me trying to playing Tekken again. Was playing him just the one time, but I never I didn't even go out and buy it. I just played him a couple times in it, and that was it. And then I think I got Tekken 6 like for the 360 at some point. But that Tag 2, I was pretty much over my head. I didn't own it. I never played it.
Yeah.
So probably that.
Very cool.
Interesting.
All right. What I got, Vinny?
What I got?
Oh.
Alright, so this question actually came from Bo. This is a damn good question. This is probably the hardest question to answer of the FGC questions. What is the best fighting game, like, song? Like, theme song? When this song pops on in a game, you go fucking ballistic because it's this craziest thing you've ever heard. You love the song.
So like it gets you high energy. It's not like you're chilling and you want to hear something
Yeah,
relaxing.
no,
like
this
is like your get up and go.
This is
All
your
right.
favorite song. Any game.
Is
Any
it gonna be
game.
a beat 'em up?
It's gotta be a fighting game.
A fighting game?
Gotta be a fighting game. Smash songs don't count.
Okay.
The Smash has every good song you'd ever want.
I've bumped half of everything in the car at one point. But like I think the one song I've bumped the loudest in the car that just gets me like up and going, like, yes, let's power through this day. Like, I don't care, let's kick the day's ass. Electric Fountain,
Ah,
Tekken 6.
good song.
Yep.
Popular.
Like something about the way it starts, like the bass, and then it gets into like
This question is gonna be hard for me because there's Tekken songs that I like, but I don't know the names like that. I mean, there's like two in particular. I don't know if I can find the name for you.
What game? What Tekken game? What game they from? Tekken. All Tekkens have they basically use almost a different set of songs every time. So
The one that comes to mind, I have it set, is Tekken 1. Tekken 1?
the character theme.
Where, no,
what's the
you
location?
fight-
Do you remember?
You fight. I think you fight on the glacier.
King George Island.
Mm-hmm. It goes like ding ding. It's like bells.
Yeah, that's
Ding,
King
ding,
King
ding,
George
ding,
Island. Yep.
ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that. Like I said,
Damn,
like,
Steve coming in with the knowledge.
the snow stage in
That's my
Tekken.
that's my favorite one of the first one.
There you go. The snow stage in.
We have a
Tekken
similar
7.
taste.
I switched it to that track. And there's like another one in 4. There's one in Tekken 3 I like, but on the Tekken 7's, jukebox, it's not there because it's the arcade version, I guess.
3 had an
Something like
amazing
that.
soundtrack too.
It did.
But yeah, that one like on that glacier, that song right there.
Okay.
That's the track.
Good song.
What was the name of it again, Steve?
King George Island,
King George Island. Yeah, there we go.
which strangely is the name of the actual location you're in, because at least Tekken 1 had the names of the locations. I kind of missed that, to be honest. Where am I fighting? In a random Walmart. Insert city here. Oh, okay, cool.
Walmart store 237.
Right? Canada Pass, aisle 7.
Boston, Massachusetts. First Street. You gotta say it like the Street Fighter 4 stage select announcer.
Abandoned Walmart, 3 a.m.
The Big Apple.
Walmart 237, 4 a.m. Fists will fly at this location.
Right?
I miss that guy.
Jeremy, what about you?
I was trying to look up the name, but Guilty Gear Strive, there's like this default song when you're going through the tutorial. And I'm sure it's like throughout the whole thing. It might even be the main menu. I haven't played Strive in forever, but I have it in my head now just thinking about
What are
it.
the words?
Is it that is bullshit blazing? Still my heart is blazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
the
it's like
main
stuff
one, yeah.
like the
Smell the
beat
game.
and the guitar. Guilty Gear just has an amazing soundtrack.
Yep.
Agreed.
I won't go
Um,
too far into the Evo stuff that I witnessed, but that intro track they made for Guilty Gear Top 8 is one of the best fucking things I've ever heard.
Well, I saw that they were chanting it.
It was
They were singing it.
so good. It was so good.
That is bullshit blazing. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I seriously haven't played the game since almost a year ago, I think, and it's still like stuck in my head once I started. You guys were talking about this.
Well,
Yeah.
I got news for you. I got a little campaign going on. It's called Play Skullgirls and Guilty Gear Strive.
Okay, I have to check
Okay.
out Skullgirls. I mean, I could do Strive. I mean, I like Strive because I like the other Guilty Gear, the XR3 PT. I don't know, some
XR
Yeah, XR.
third. Yeah, like I like
Rev
that.
2.
Yeah, that. Yeah, so I bought Strive like right away, but I don't like. I like to just pick up a game and play online. I don't want to have to create room. Like I don't know. I just didn't like that part of it.
A lot of people didn't like Strive's lobbies. You're not alone on that.
No, I didn't want to go into.
Yeah,
some
I
crazy
just end up
Discord.
I just end up doing the default find me somebody, because the lobbies get annoy me too. I'm just like, let me just be in the training mode. Just find me anyone. I don't care how many levels above me they are. I'll fight them.
All right, so that's the last of my like specific fighting game questions. You've answered all of them. So
Cool.
we're jumping into
What?
the real meat of things here. We're gonna talk arcades.
Oh, the steak is coming.
We're gonna talk arcades, and
Yes.
all four of
Okay.
us are from different areas that we spent in as kids. I know that for a fact because I'm not from New York City. So I'll ask this to Steve first. What
What you got?
What was the name of the first arcade you ever went to?
So, I'm trying to remember what it
Like,
technically was
Let me
called.
rephrase. All right, this will be a two-part question. I'll make this a little more interesting. The name of the first arcade you ever walked into, and what was the first cabinet you touched in that arcade?
Like, I remember where it was because it was part of an amusement park called Coney Island in Brooklyn that Mom would take me to in the weekends.
Okay, I'll accept that as an answer.
And I'm trying to remember the first one.
The very first arcade game you walked into, and you put a quarter in.
Well, it wasn't even that. I think she it was one of those, she put me in her
Token.
lap kind of deals and let me do the steering wheel. There was this racing game called Turbo.
Okay.
I was like 5. So it's like this little racing game. So like, yeah, she got me into video games, believe it or not. It was like a downward spiral from there.
That's cool. Mom Duke's helping you out.
Yep. So in turn, I taught her how to play Street Fighter 2 and it hit Super Nintendo.
Joe, that question's gonna be the last question I ask, so if you want to know the answer, sit tight. Okay, what about you, Kenyon?
Well, you said the first
First
arcade.
arcade you went into and the first game you played in it.
A memory comes from being in school, and a friend of mine was like, "Yo, you have to go to this arcade." I'd never been to one before, but he's like, he called it an arcade. It's called Sports Time, and they have like food. They got batting cages. I think he liked baseball, so he went. His parents took him to to do the batting cages there. He said batting cages, mini golf, and you get token bags, and it costs this much, that much. So I was like, oh, that sounds like something I'd want to check out. And I walking in that place, I was like mesmerized at all the stuff. Like I walked in, there was the batting cages there, but it was just sounds and people, and they had like a pizza cart walked by with all these like pies made on it. I guess it was like a birthday party in one of the rooms.
Mhm.
But I was definitely impressed because like they got pizza in here too. And I want to say the first thing that I played or remember playing, it wasn't actually an arcade game necessarily. I mean, it was a game, but it was this machine that like it tested your strength. So it had these like two metal bars, and you pretty much had to like squeeze them together with your hand, like your palm.
Oh, I
And
know that
like
same type.
it would rate your strength. And I think
Yeah.
it was something. It might have cost like 1 token. So I was like, let me try this out. I want to see what my strength is. And I must have been like maybe like 10 or 11. Of course, I got wimpy. But you know, I think that was the game that I would play every time coming in there, trying to get it to go past wimpy.
Did you ever get it to go past Wimpy?
Yeah, as I got, like 12, 13, but as 10-year-old, I didn't have the grip of like the top of it is like
I wish you
George the
had.
Jungle or Manly or something like
I
that.
wish you put it into like a dramatic like story. Like every year, I went back to that machine and tried and tried and tried. Till eventually, it said
Get the anime narrator.
I wasn't wimpy anymore.
It was
And
every time
finally, one
every
day
time
I
to the
went back
arcade,
and it was gone. And I realized I never got my chance to make the gorilla strength grip. I will forever be known as a wimpy grip. I couldn't have my redemption.
Tell y'all what, I'm gonna find the picture of the machine because I know it has to be online. I'm gonna share.
Oh,
it.
I know exactly the type of machine you're talking about. Seabreeze used to
Did
have
you?
one.
Oh shit. Jeremy, what about you, my friend?
I would say the first, I guess, that qualified as an arcade would be like Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
And they had like, it was like an Atari kind of place. So like, I think it was like maybe Cubert. I remember like these old, like that was like real like early memories. I remember playing like Cubert, Asteroid, Space Invader, stuff like that. Pac-Man, those kinds of things. But like arcade machines were more common almost everywhere. Like I remember playing like Hogan's Alley at the airport here in Syracuse. You know, they were. I think somebody mentioned like there every bodega and laundromat had something.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
me. Yep.
Like the one, like the first time, like it was like just a place devoted towards arcade. I would say it'd probably be Chuck E. Cheese.
Fair answer. All right, so this this one might make you think a little too, because this is an interesting question, to me at least, because I've done this on stream. So, what arcade game took the most of your quarters as a child?
Oh, PTSD inbound. Here remembering this. Here I come. Oh,
Like, and not in terms of you kept going back to play because you enjoyed it. Like, this game kept stealing your quarters, and you just got pissed off, and you kept trying.
oh no, I legit hated this game. I still hate this game to this day, to be honest. But I don't know. Like even when I try it, I still get irritated about it. The first Dragon Slayer.
Fair enough.
Oh, man.
That's
And it's because it's like even when you lose, they randomize the spot you end up at. And it's just like, all right, so I'm not even in the same place anymore. Okay. And then what am I doing? I don't know. It looks like a cartoon, but I died. Ah.
Man.
It's a rough answer.
I'm telling you, like I even like on the same time period, when Mom used to take me to the arcade, but like I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, this looks cool. It's a cartoon, and 5 seconds later, brr, I'm like, that's it. I need more quarters.
Oh man. What about you, Jeremy? We'll switch up the order. What about you?
Other than, oh my god, I just third. Other than the like the crane game type stuff, I would say like I one summer grinded the Simpsons arcade game.
Oh man.
Like
Such
I
a
was
great
chasing high
game,
scores
great
on
game.
that. Yeah, I would say that's when I probably put the most tokens into. Other than like dumb stuff like the coin dozer and things like that.
One of the best arcade license games, I think,
Oh, it was
ever from
awesome.
a
Like,
existing
I held,
franchise.
yeah, I held the high score at was it Timeout at Great Northern for a while. And they used to give you things. I don't know what they would give out, but I used to get something for it for keeping it for month after month.
Oh wow.
It's probably not worth the money I put into it.
It wasn't worth the stress. What about you, Kenyon?
Quarter muncher.
I've been thinking this whole time. When you say steal your quarters, like, you mean like out of anger, or I just had to keep playing
Out
it?
of frustration. This game,
Frustration.
you kept going back because you were so frustrated, and you kept telling yourself you could beat this game, and it just never. It was a never-ending struggle.
Like I only remember.
Everybody has one. I know damn well anyone that's been to the arcades has at least one.
Telling you.
And that game made you turn around and walk away, and every time you walked by it, you'd
got
like
it.
spit on it.
I got it. I
Right.
didn't spit on it, but I got it. It was that Street Fighter 1 cabinet.
Figured you were gonna say that.
The Street Fighter 1 cabinet, as difficult as it was, you start out and you can choose either, was it, I think it's like China or is it England? Wherever it starts you out, you fight the bald guy in China, and then I think you go to, who do you fight after that? You fight, I think, is it Birdie? Oh, he's in England. The people that gave me problems were Mike. You have Mount, the president's Mount Rushmore, and if he uppercutted you 3 times, your health bar was done. Like he had said hit you
Yeah.
3 times. So like I remember trying to, the game lets you beat the first guy, get a little fight, and then like the second character, same thing with Birdie. You get 3 headbutts, you're done. So like I would keep trying to beat Mike. I'm talking about him, what, umpteen years later, 20-some years later. But yeah, that game, and then just trying to go further. I think the furthest I've ever gotten was to I think Gen's in that game.
Yep.
So yeah, like I mean I enjoyed it, but definitely I gotta beat Mike, and he's taking my tokens, and I only got $10 worth. My dad's outside waxing the car. He said, when I'm done with the tokens, we gotta go. So yeah, he was a problem.
All right. Oh, let's flip it. What game did you put so many quarters in because you actually enjoyed it?
Ooh.
Because you enjoyed this game so much and you always wanted to play it and you'd always go back and play it because you always had such a fun time.
This could be even stretching to adulthood too, right?
Yeah, all time. Doesn't have to be from when you were a kid. This is all time.
Galaga. I can't walk by a Galaga machine to this day without putting a quarter in it.
Okay.
I got heavily addicted to the Pump It Up cabinets. So even when I go to Dave and Buster's, I'm just like, I need to play it just once, and then once turns like 10 times. Even though I'm old and shouldn't be on that machine.
Alright. What about you, Kenyon?
It's that Ninja Turtles cabinet.
Oh,
Good answer.
Automatically had to play that wherever it was. It wasn't always in the arcade. I don't even know if well, they had to have had it, but I feel like I played it in our local movie theater. Like if we were going to the movies, I knew that I was going to play that before the show.
who did you play in Turtles?
Donatello.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Donatello.
good man.
Did you play Shredder's Revenge?
A little bit, a couple times.
You didn't beat
I'm
it?
like, I need to play it some more. No, I played it
Yeah.
for. I didn't do the whole the campaign mode.
Me and my boy had a day one that one. Like we got past a few of the levels, and like we're looking at each other like it's midnight, and then we give each other that. Well, we don't have shit to do on Saturday. Look,
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, all right, I'll drop you off later. We're done. We just went through the rest of it.
My brother-in-law and I beat it in a day and a half. It was so good. We should play it. It's on Game Pass.
Beat the shit out.
Yeah,
of
hell
it.
yeah, that's where I was
I wanted
playing
to
it.
play
You know?
I wanted to play it.
Got the fan service.
Yeah,
I'll,
set it.
I'll let Rick take the wheel on some questions. I know he was
Yeah.
very intrigued by this topic too. So
Yeah. So, Jeremy, you mentioned earlier like playing like KI in the arcades.
Yep.
Can you give me your best KI story of like whether it's a victory or utter defeat of when you were playing KI in the arcades?
Man, I wish I remembered more. I just remember playing it a lot. I lived far away from everything out in the country, so like I would play it like in the middle of the afternoon, usually after like errands were run. Like I wish I had a really good. I think
you
like, memories I have is like when somebody's actually there, or like a group of people, not just like one person casually walking by, playing it, putting their quarters, lining their quarters up. Like I wish I had a memory though of doing something in the game. But like a memory I had that I could tell that was exciting was like Mortal Kombat 1 on the Genesis. Like we didn't know there's things called finishing moves, and
Yeah.
we unlocked scorpions by accident, and you should have heard us screaming as like 12-year-old kids, and we're just trying to pick because like, you didn't have like the internet, you couldn't look up these moves, and
Yeah.
none of us played Mortal Kombat until
Yeah.
we brought it home one day. But
Man.
that's a good memory. And I'm sure if I played that Mortal Kombat in the arcade first, seeing the first finishing move, that would have been a big deal.
Yeah, when he rips off his mask and just ignites his opponent.
Oh, this
That's
was
awesome.
like the uppercut. Was it Scorpion who did it? The uppercut where the pulls the head right off?
That's Sub-Zero.
Johnny Cage.
Is that
Oh,
Johnny
well,
Cage? I remember like
Johnny
the
Cage punches the
spine
head off.
dangling.
Oh, that's Sub-Zero.
Okay, so was Sub-Zero. See, I'm not even remembering that right, but I remember
Man.
that just like the screaming. We're like, oh my god.
I like to add to that memory. The first
Yeah.
fatality that I saw was I was playing the machine alone when Kano won the game. It ripped my heart out because I was playing the computer and it did
Yeah.
that fatality on me, and I was like, what? I was like in total shock of seeing that in a game and the computer did it.
Man. So my first fatality experience, let's just say, I traded. The heck did I trade? I remember I traded. I think it was Sonic 1 for a cartridge of Mortal Kombat 2 on the bus coming home, second grade. I traded it to David Truesdale. I feel like I made out on the deal on this. Mortal
Like a
Kombat 2.
bandit,
Sega
yo.
Genesis for
And Blood
Sonic
Code,
the Hedgehog 1, Sega Genesis. I feel like I made out. But I remember playing that game, and the first special move I could do was Kung Lao's like teleport. It was just down up. But I remember I used to sit in the tower mode, and I would just let the opponent just beat me over and over and over again until I got to see a fatality. And I think the very first one that I saw was Sub-Zero's, where he freezes you, like ultra freezes you, and then walks over and like uppercuts you. And I was like, this is fucking wild. In my, I probably didn't say fucking wild, but I was probably like, oh my God, because I was, 7 years old, 8 years old or whatever, seeing this happen. And then I remember the very first fatality I actually could do was Johnny Cage's. And that was the one where he does the uppercut and knocks your head off. So forward, down, up. That's the command.
that was
So-
that was the first one I ever saw in the arcade.
I got a
Yeah.
question.
Yep.
So, what did your parents think of you trading the game and then having Mortal Kombat in the house?
Oh, my parents didn't know for a while. But my dad and I used to play fighting games all the time. Like we played like Street Fighter 2 and all that, you know what I mean? So when I had this one, he was like, oh, this is pretty cool. We played it, whatnot. And I remember I asked my mom, this is how it was like old school internet style. my mom worked at the hospital, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, because we didn't have internet at the house." I said, "Hey, when you're at work, can you look up like cheat codes for Mortal Kombat 2?" And I remember she went to work and she looked them up and printed them out and brought them home like the next morning because she worked overnights. And I had I had the whole list of all the fatalities and everything, man. It was awesome.
There used to be so many pages, those little facts. Like,
Yep.
oh my God.
Oh yeah, the
My mom gets so
Usernet, right?
mad.
Usenet.
Cheat Code Central.
Little CompuServe.
I think that was my my go-to was Cheat Code Central. So, but yeah, my parents, I don't think they really they didn't know for a couple weeks at least. But yeah. All right. Well,
I feel like Genesis was the great equalizer for like when you were a kid, because it was like it had the headphone jack, and like my mom was all like, no video games, after 9, school night, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I just closed my door, put some headphones in the headphone jack. Best invention ever at the time period. When you're a kid, you're like, oh, I can still play the game. She won't know a thing.
yeah. You know what I loved? You know what I loved about the Genesis though? Like, because I still have mine and it still works. 30 something years later, but the fact that like there was no saving, right? There was no.
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to continue your game and it was time to go to bed, you left that on all night. And I remember doing that with Sonic 2. I remember leaving it on all night because I like had gotten to like, I don't know, like I think it was like the 4th or 5th level, and I was like, all right, I'm doing pretty good, but I got to go to bed. It's like 8 o'clock. So I literally left it on the next all night, and then when I woke up at 6 or 7 or 6:30 or something like that, I went downstairs, turned on the TV, and had my game ready to go right then and there, and continue my time.
Yeah. Genesis has so many good games. That's another conversation for another time.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, let's get back to the arcade stuff. So, Steve, favorite arcade memory, fighting game wise? Like, did you ever like sit there and just run the gambit? Have one quarter and just start bodying people, or?
I feel my favorite one because it was so dumb, right? And it was like, why would you do that, right?
Yeah.
So I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, going to the Art Institute, and we our student lounge was hooked up. We had Tekken 3, MVC 1. We're not talking about War Gods because we didn't know why that was there. But Busted Move 2, like the old puzzle game for Neo Geo. Like we had the hook up there. Like whoever thought to put all that in there, kudos on them. But MVC 1 I was really good at, and my roommate, me and him had the same English class after lunch. So I had a streak going. It was like 22, 23, and
yeah,
I told him I was like, Damien, could you please tell the teacher I'm going to be late?
What?
And he's like,
wait, what?
And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I can't just leave it here. I got 23. I can't leave it. I gotta keep going until I lose.
Oh man.
So 20 minutes later, I get to the class. The teacher gives me the nastiest look, and I'm like, what? He goes like a normal thing.
What did you end on?
It was like 25, I think. 25, 26. But it was just hilarious because I was 17 and stupid. Like, you just have like balls of steel. You're just like, oh,
yeah.
They'll be fine. And you look in there and they look at you like, remember, you paid to go to this school.
Yeah. Man, that is dedication. See, that's the type of story I'm like, man, that's awesome. Can you cover for me? I got a 23 game win streak.
Right? Just tell the truth. I don't care.
Man.
Yep.
What was that movie about gambling? It was like, you never leave on a heater. When you're on a heater, you never leave, or something like that.
I've never seen it, but
Oh man.
But yeah, that was me. Like, cause like I felt like I kind of had a reputation. I was the second best Spider-Man player down there.
Yeah.
The dude that would beat me all the time though. There was an arcade 3 blocks from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. It was called Smithfield Arcade, and there would be this black dude, also bald, a little shorter than me, who would come in with a suit on his lunch break, smack everyone around.
Man.
Spider-Man, even me. I'm like, okay, so I'm definitely number 2. I can't beat
Man.
this guy.
Man, that's awesome though. Kenyon, how about you?
What was the magic question? What was it?
Favorite arcade memory with fighting games?
Favorite arcade memory. Oh, it has to be fighting games.
Oh, I got another good question afterwards.
Arcade memory. Fighting games. Because I have some good memories, but I feel like the fighting games.
Oh, maybe all right. Well, how about just fighting arcades in general? My favorite memory.
Okay, because like the fighting games, I mean, I played them in the arcade, but there was no like. I will say a lot of the times I end up just playing the CPU because there wasn't. I wouldn't say there was. Maybe there was a scene. I don't know, but there was very few times like. Mind you, I'm like 12 or 13, so the people that are on the machines is like a group of like 18-year-olds, maybe older.
Mhm.
So I wasn't getting. I had to look over a shoulder or kind of like. There was no way I was playing. I'd wait till they would go. But there was at that sports time near me they had a tournament. The Neo Geo had come out, the system,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how much the Neo Geo cost back then?
Oh god, it was like
remember how much?
$700-800. Like,
What really? Wow.
yeah, it was obnoxious.
So they had $700-800 a game. I remember seeing at the store it was like $200 for a game. Like a cartridge.
Yeah, not even kidding. No BS. I can
Yeah.
confirm
Like-
that too.
Nam or like Samurai Showdown, and the cartridge is huge. The cartridge is about the size of a Series S.
Yeah, like it's like a Genesis. Like a Sega
Uh-huh.
Genesis is the best way to describe those.
So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
the arcade, they had a system, and there was a high score tournament to win a Neo Geo and a number of games.
Oh boy, that's so you're talking over $1,000.
Yes,
That's like
and-
1990s
And it's
money.
not like I knew about it. I just happened to go there, and they had that high score tournament going on. All right, I'm taking this home because I want one. Can't afford one. No way. And it's like this is the only chance that I got,
Yeah.
and I'm good at games. Period.
This
So
is like the origin story. I love it.
yeah,
Right.
I'm good at. I was it when it came to video games. Were in my circle, so I was like, I'm going to be getting this. What we got to play? Magician lore, I think.
Oh, I couldn't get anywhere in that one.
Now I think it's notorious that it's hard to get past like the second stage. It's
Most of those Neo Geo games were rough back then.
So I was like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna get this. And it's like all these people like lined up to try, to get their high score. Go up there, I play it. I'm playing side scrolling. I'm getting these points. I'm playing, and I get done. That you had to do in a certain amount of time. I want to say it was like maybe like a minute or like a minute and a half. I don't know, but I mean, you could probably maybe finish the first level. You had to get as high a score as you could. So finish it, and the person they're taking the scores down, and the person goes, "Oh, that's a really good score." And I was like, "Yes,
Yes, this is a
really
winning
good
score.
really good score." Okay, so they come back later for to see who won. So playing around the arcade a little bit. Time go back, and then they do the high scores, whatever, and they're like, the winner is such and such, whatever. So the winner was this little girl who had to be like maybe 7 or 8 years old.
Oh man.
Maybe with the pink overalls, lighting her finger, and I'm like, wow, okay, and I'm watching. She's being awarded the Neo Geo system, and I'm listening. So there's some guys like near, and they're like, the one guy was like, yeah, we told her. Apparently, at the end of the first stage, there was like a crystal ball that gave you like crazy amount of points. So
Yeah.
they told her to play it, get the crystal ball, kill herself, go back, play it again. You get the crystal ball again.
Oh, they gave her the hack.
They told her to
Oh.
do that, and she get. And this is what I overheard people saying because I was like, "What? No, there's no way." Even I was a kid, but I was like, she got the high score. No.
Yeah.
But she did get the high score, so she won Neo Geo, and they had all the games. At least like 3 or 4 games. Those $200 games were out there. Boom. Okay, I go to the counter. I was like, they said I got a high score. What did I place? What did I get? And the guy goes, "Oh, yeah, you did. You placed 7th." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Here you go," and it was like Bart Simpson, like stuffed doll, but the head is like plastic. This like, I got a Bart Simpson. Oh, and that was my trophy. That's it.
My best memory.
Man. So wait, so that was your first technical tournament win. I take it. You got a Bart Simpson stuffy.
If you put it
Yep.
like that, yeah. Yep. Bart
Hey,
Simpson,
you
yeah.
placed top 8. You got a Bart Simpson stuffy. I counted as a win. It wasn't a Neo Geo. All right. If anything, that 7-year-old girl participated in a little collusion. Here she was getting
Definitely
the tips.
collusion.
She was getting
know?
the tips from the older kids.
Dirty win. Dirty win.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Man.
I'll put that in the resume. Thank you for turning that around for me. And it made for a
Yeah.
great story 20-some years later on
Mhm.
a stream
Vinny,
about arcade games.
Vinny, I am curious about your favorite arcade memory.
So, I will always remember this because the guy got really fucking bitter. So, Steve and Kenyon, I don't know when you guys like moved up here. I know you're from New York City area. Do you guys remember Funscape, where Driver's Village is? Remember that at all?
I never got to go. Like,
I wasn't here for that.
So,
I remember it.
I knew of it, but
so they had a row of fighting games. We had everything you'd want. We had Red Earth.
oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
So
Yeah.
they had a Marvel machine. I was probably, I'd say 9 or I was 10 maybe. And I always picked Mega Man and Spider-Man. So one day there was a line. People were playing for quarter. Like we played for tokens because they used tokens. You couldn't play for quarters. I went on a 16 win streak, and the last guy I played called me a cheater, and I was like 10 years old. He
You're
was
back-
so fucking mad.
Assault.
He was so mad.
Oh
and-
yeah.
I was just like, thinking of it now, like if I knew terms back then, I would have probably turned to him and just been like, "Learn the matchup, bro." But I was
Right.
just like I was a little kid, and I was like, "Have a good day." And then I lost after that, but that's one of my favorite memories because the guy, like, he looked like the Hulk, man. He turned red. He was so pissed. He couldn't understand how this kid was beating everybody.
And
I'm just
16
like-
win streak.
I just remember I love Mega Man and Spider-Man, so I just played those two characters every single time.
Man,
That was fun.
That-
But
that's
my
awesome.
that's my favorite memory is pissing off some dude. He had to be like in his 20s. Like this little kid just fucking pisses off. Fucking college student.
that is awesome.
And that's why I like Marvel so much.
Marvel.
I love Marvel. We should come back, but I don't think it's going to.
Man,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's my favorite memory, just because I can still envision the dude's face, and it's great.
He's probably listening to this stream right now.
Yeah.
Going,
Oh my god, that'd be so
Kid.
funny. It's someone in the
Right.
community. So you're the little bastard.
I remember.
No,
you.
that's my favorite. It's my favorite memory though. That
Man,
like
that's awesome.
the first time I ever walked into that place, because we had all those fighting games. We had every racing game. We had a mini golf course. We had laser tag, movie theater. That place
Yeah.
had everything you'd ever want. And then it's closed down because that was when arcades just died.
Mhm.
Dude, I love hearing these stories because, like, in Rochester, we didn't really have like too many arcades. I remember like Time Out in the Mall, but that was more so like there was no like real fighting game stuff. It was like, oh, we could play skee ball or like coin dozer, or, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Claw machines and stuff, and like, but like I think they maybe had like one Tekken cabinet or something like that, but there was never any like Marvel cabinet or, Mortal Kombat cabinet. But I did go to one in Rochester, and I can't remember. I think it was called Swillburger. And this would be an awesome trip to take with folks. Kenyon, you would love it. There's so many pinball machines there.
Oh, I was like, why does it sound
my-
familiar?
I've
I remember
heard of this
it, but
place.
I never made it. I hadn't been there yet.
Yes,
I
this would be an
remember when it
awesome
was
road trip
opening.
we should take, like, just some weekend. But it's called Swillburger. It's in an old church, right? And they renovated a church, and it's a 2-layer barcade burger joint. So they have awesome burgers, but it has also every like arcade machine you can think of and pinball machine you can think of, and it's 2 floors. And they
Is it
got like
still- Still open?
I think it's still open, yeah. And it's got like craft beers and regular beers and cocktails and stuff like that. So sick of a place. And I remember like going in there, they had Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. They had like the Turtles, they had X-Men game, they had Marvel games, like everything. And I think everything was like a quarter to play. The burgers were like, they were like that old school like Shaler's like style burger where it was like flat top grill, charred edges, pickles in a 5-gallon bucket you scoop yourself, like that kind of thing. And like I vividly remember being like, all right, this is really, really, really cool. Because I think I was like 25 or 26 at the time going, and I was like, man, this is really, really cool. And it made me just like really wish I grew up in like the arcade era, where, people would go and like put a quarter up on the fighting game machine and, be next in line and like take your turn and watch people play and all that good shit, But
Right.
that was a
Yeah,
very
it's
long story, but I think that would be a sweet place for all of us to go at some point.
It is
I would
still
be
open.
totally down to drive over there,
I'm-
especially
I'm
since I have
looking at
AC
the
back in
time
the
right
car. Hell yeah.
You're like,
I'm looking at the times right now. I wanted to see if it was still open. It is still open.
I'd be down. I just gotta know a week ahead of time.
hmm
yeah, it's on Clinton Ave.
Be a fun trip.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Kenny, are you looking at these photos and stuff? There's like a bar.
I saw a couple of them. I went right to the website. I saw the pinball machines. Yeah, we'll have to go. Let's plan that.
Yeah.
That trip, an outing, if you will.
FGC outing.
Word.
Old man hour.
You know?
But,
Is it over 30 classic? Wow. Okay.
so I just had a question pop into my head, and I completely, my brain just was like, nah. I completely forgot what I was just about to ask you. Oh. So when you walked into the arcade, like your favorite arcade that you ever went to, what was a machine that you walked by that you like, you just loved seeing, but you never actually ever went up and played it? Like you walked by it and you're like, that looks cool, and you just kept walking.
Dragon Slayer.
Fair enough.
There was a
That's my answer.
There was
too.
a game that Sega made, and I kick myself almost every time I think of this for never trying it when I was a kid. They came out with this game. So like, the concept of Afterburner, right? You're in the plane
Mhm.
and stuff. But you can't go a full 360 in Afterburner. However, Sega made a R360 cabinet when you're in a sphere and you have to put the seatbelt on and all that shit. And yeah, you can spin the plane all the way the hell around, and the sphere spins with you. So yeah, I always would watch it and be like, that looks really cool. But I'm like, I'm kind of scared to play that, so I just keep walking after a while. But I never got to try it. And then like I would watch like restoration videos, as an adult, and old, 4 years behind what I am now. Just memories. I'm like, man, I kick myself for never having even got to try it, because no one's made that kind of thing anymore. I mean, nothing against the little IMAX half dome things they've been coming out with. But yeah, it's not the same. Like I would love to try something like that as an adult. I think it'd be wild.
What about you, Kenyon?
I was thinking about sports time. I feel like anything that I can put a token in, like I tried everything. If they put something new in there, whether it was like racing games or like side scroller beat 'em up, any fighting games and beat 'em ups, I was playing. The only things that I thought were cool but didn't do, I never actually did the batting cages. My friend did the batting cages. I think I was afraid I was gonna hit with the ball, so I wasn't. I was like, no, we're staying away from that. And then a portion of the arcade, or a large portion actually, was like a billiards room. So it was like lined. I want to say there were at least like 20 like pool tables through there, but it seems like
Oh, wow.
something you had to pay like extra, and you could see through, like, there was like glass. It was just encased in glass. This whole like huge room, and you can look in. And I'd see mostly like adults in there, so I was like, okay, well I can't go in there. And then there was like a very small bumper car ring was in there, but it looked. I never saw anybody bumping cars in there, so I was like, I loved bumper cars as a kid, like at like fairs and stuff, because that was my time to drive a car.
Mhm.
So I was
Yeah.
like, yes, I'm doing the bumper cars, because I was like, I get to drive a car. But yeah, at my arcade, there's nobody was bumping cars. It was like an attendant just sitting there collecting money all day.
Huh.
But yeah, every game that came through, I would try it out. At least 2 tokens. Okay, we'll try it.
I'm with Jeremy. Mine was I always would walk by Dragon's Lair, and it was always so eye catchy. It's just
Yeah.
an animated video,
Mhm.
but I never would play it
It's pure
Yeah.
torture.
because mainly because you kind of got that from when people would get pissed off at it, so it just like kind of
Yeah.
scared me away. Because I'm
Yeah,
like,
like-
I'm here to have fun, not get like super upset as a child.
And then there was Time Traveler. Have you seen that? The
I've
holographic
seen
game.
Time Travel.
Yeah, like that one. Like,
Carousel had that one.
I played it once and I never played it again. Like I had no idea what was going on with that. And I think that was kind of the story where like everybody was like one of those like gimmicks where somebody you just tried it once and that was it.
I
Yeah,
feel like
With like the cowboy.
Mhm.
if I saw Dragon's Lair, I would want to. I didn't see it that often, but I would want to. I remember playing it a couple times and not understanding at first, and then trying to do it. But there was in my arcade I don't know if you guys had seen it. It was like one. It was with like actors, and I remember we had a Western one, and then there was like a space pirate one, and it was like Dragon's Lair, but you had a light gun, and a certain people like you had to shoot before they shot you, and it would like the next scene would play.
Oh shit! What's it
It was
called?
a,
We had one.
What?
We had one up here.
like I think the restaurant was like Mad Dog McCree or something.
Mad Dog
like that.
McCree,
Yes.
yeah.
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 They actually have that
had-
on the Wii, and it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, we had that on there was a pirate one. I would play with that. That would get me actually stressed out because like it would change each time because the lady would be like, shoot the yellow light, and it's like a whole scene with they're kidnapped, and I'm like, well, where's the yellow light? And then a pirate swings in, and I try to shoot, and I shoot one to
So-
kidnap people, and then
Oh.
It's kind of like every time I played like Time Crisis or House of the Dead. Super fucking stressful, man.
Don't
Shoot-
shoot me in a reflex just
Like,
shooter. Like not even thinking.
Yeah, it's like don't shoot me. Game over.
Thinking of like those rail shooters that was it Revolution X, the Aerosmith game?
Yes, that game.
Oh,
I never
man,
got to play that.
we had one.
But like
I
there's
remember being
always crowds
stuck
around
on
it.
that
Yeah.
for like at least a half hour on one boss, and it was like there was like a spider like in front of like this bridge, and I didn't know you had to shoot the pegs out from the bridge. So I'm sitting there putting all these corners, and so I was like, this thing doesn't die. Is this the last boss? Like, no. Turns out, bing. Like, oh, pillars. That's right, or the pegs. Okay, you have to actually drown this thing, basically. Oh, but it took me a half hour to figure that out.
Remember the Terminator 2 one?
Yep. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Oh, that's a great one.
That made me get the Menacer for the Genesis, like that game. I was like, once I found out that was hitting home, I'm like, yes, please.
So
A
the,
lot of quarters in that one.
I didn't get a picture of it because there were so many people on it. They actually had that at Evo in the arcade section, but there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
line to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I believe it.
That was a good game.
Yep, there was that. And then
Classic.
I did get a picture of, they had the Punisher. I got a picture of that one.
Oh, Punisher was great too.
Punisher. They had some really good games, man. Like, it was just cool to walk through that section. So many memories. DDR machine. I was like, oh, they got DDR.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Did you play it or was it too crowded?
I got a picture of it before the crowd formed, and I was like, all right, Steve, we gotta go. I got more things to do. I appreciated it though, because they had like a real DD. It wasn't like one of those cheap ass. It was like full blown. Had the handbar, like you could do the dances on it, like in the crazy ass videos. Like I think I've shown Rick that video of the kid that would like do backflips and shit while he was playing Double Decker, fucking In the Zone or whatever, or Up Groove. I
Yeah.
don't remember what game it was. This dude was like doing backflips and like sliding under the bar and doing the moonwalk across the foot buttons, and it was just
Oh, that reminds-
it was just insane.
have you seen the
Reminds me of the
people
old
that
Pump
could do
Street
like
bits.
2-player by themselves?
Yeah, that's what he was
Yep.
doing.
Yeah,
It was, and
yeah.
he like landed on the notes every time. It was crazy. It's like, damn, I wish I was that good. Shout out to Cats. Fucking Cats is a DDR legend. Oh, Kenyon, you're back in the lobby. I didn't even notice. I was like, looked over. I'm like, how come nothing's going on? I'm like, oh, he left.
Surprised my
Said I was
PlayStation
kicked
goes.
out.
Steve.
He kicked me out while we were talking.
it booted.
But, let's see. What other questions? I've asked the big ones that I expect I wanted to ask. What about Rick? You got any more? While I try to think of some. Got like maybe 20 minutes left, so. I have one question, but it doesn't pertain to arcades. It's another question I ask everybody. So I've asked everything I could think that I'd want to ask.
I'll think of something here. Let's see. Arcades.
Oh, other than Chuck E. Cheese, have you ever been to an arcade that has animatronics?
Ooh. Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
I have
No?
not, personally.
You ever been to
I
Water
think so.
Safari?
Water Safari.
They got
with the
knockoff
fun
Chuck
never-
E.
You know,
Cheese up
finally,
there.
as an adult,
They got knockoff
like-
Chuck E. Cheese up there, and he's a legend.
3 weeks ago.
He's got like a
Or no,
banjo.
2 weeks ago.
He's got a banjo in his hand that's like falling apart because they never fixed it.
Oh no.
I was just curious because the only arcade I've ever been to with animatronics really was Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm pretty sure there's got to be some other ones out there. I figured maybe you guys might have been to one.
I can't think of any.
I got one for the old heads.
Yeah, go.
Let it rip.
First arcade tournament.
I'll just go off right now. I never actually played in the tournaments. I just played the token game.
We heard my first tournament,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
trophy.
So mine was my first one was Soul Edge. Aladdin's Castle up here had this 4-weekend thing
Forgot about it.
where it was like at week 5, the winner from all 4 weeks before it, would fight each other for the chance to go fly out to, I forgot where the place was, but for like the world finals or whatever. So I won the first week, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, so I'm already set. And then I had this friend of mine, my arcade rival Lawrence, and like I knew he was good enough to win one of these, but I didn't understand what he was doing until like the final week of the 4 weeks. Like he ended up winning the 4th week, but like 2 and 3, like it was almost like he was sandbagging the kids and losing on purpose. So like finally, like between week 3 and 4, I'm like, you're good enough to beat all these kids that from these weeks. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, you see, you get free tokens every time for 2nd place still. I was like, why didn't I think about that?
Oh, the strat.
Yep, because they didn't say that you couldn't keep re-entering. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
The
I ended
strat.
up fighting him in the finals for week 5. and it was the scummiest thing because like you couldn't break throws back then. So like he just kept running up to me, throw. He'd back up a little bit, just out of rage, run up, throw. I was mad as fuck.
Oh man. Man.
That's some scumbaggery right there.
But yeah, I can't be completely mad at him for like all the time because he's the one who actually got me to take VF seriously. So you know, the good with the bad.
Alright, fair.
I used to take advantage of our school trip to Great Adventure at the end of the year, because they used to have one section of the park. They had like these there's an arcade, but it was like casino. So you had like slot machines that like you won tokens that you can use for prizes. The tokens actually fit and worked in the arcade that we had back home. So I would go there and trying to win tokens that I can actually play with back at our arcade. So they probably had some tokens in their mix that said, you know, Great Adventure.
How about this? When you first walk into an arcade, what's the first thing you notice? Is it the sights? Is it the sounds? Is it the food? Is it the clanging of the token machine? Is it the what the fuck as somebody gets bodied in some fighting game? What's the first thing you notice?
Sensory overload. Sensory overload. You going in because it's usually dark, you know, dark lit. But I mean, there's lighting, but you got that like back then you had the neon lighting, and you're just hearing all these games playing at once. All the music, everything's just at once hitting you when you walk in. That's kind of like exciting. Are you just even going? Just like at least what's for me. And
Yeah.
To go,
was
and,
gonna say,
and
like-
to go to a new arcade, like when you hadn't been to, it's like same sensory, but it's like you're more excited. It's like, what is making all this noise? What games are in here creating this sound? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my perspective had changed like since I started working at since I worked at two of them lifetime. So like it ended up being so now if I end up at a new arcade somewhere, I'm like, what have I seen? Like the first thing I'm like, did I see this game before elsewhere? Yeah, I mean, which unfortunately because of Raw Thrills, that happens very quite a bit these days. But yeah, so like when I first got to round one down in Middletown for the first time, I was working at the bowling alley up here when it was All Star or whatever, and it was kind of part recon job to see if I can get some ideas for stuff that we can get up here possibly, and just part you know just to go fun. But like I get in there and like I immediately look to the right, and I was like, okay, I've seen that one before. But then I look to the left, I'm like, Dorado, what the? And it had some weird magician game, but it was kind of like a third-person like PvP magician game, something Stratos. So I'm like, that looks kind of interesting. So I'm like, oh, okay, what else have I not seen before in here? And that was like literally like 3/4 of the store. I was like, this place is awesome.
Man.
And then I found, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I found out from one of the coworkers there, because he wanted to play me in Tekken 7 a couple of times. I told him we had some killers up here, because he thought I was really good. I was like, no, you haven't seen where I came from.
You have
But so I started, you know, he started asking me some questions. I started asking him some questions, and he was like, oh yeah, the owner of this franchise is Japanese. That's why you see so many Japanese games in here. I'm like, that makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest.
yeah.
But it was organized so well. Like I think round one, the way they organized their establishments, like it's crazy because it's like you get in there and there's like the fighting game section, right? And it's like okay, and then like there's the racing game section. It's like okay, then there's like the rhythm game section in the back, and there's just like huge. And then okay, they have the ticket game section. Okay, fine, but it's just like wow, it's just like organized, like nothing's just like you don't find like okay, here's DDR, here's Tekken, here's a crane game randomly next to all that. Like no, it's just like like it's just like sections. And like I was like the first time I saw that, I was like, this is a really good idea, to be honest.
No, it's awesome. Awesome.
So I got a question. It kind of goes along the line of this. So when you walk into an arcade, what's the first section you're looking for?
Where's the fighting games at, though?
So,
I
'cause
think that's
for
pretty
me,
much me.
Whenever I walked into the arcade, like the first time I walked into a different arcade, I always would pinpoint where the fighting games were and the rhythm games.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
Those were the
me
two
too.
that I would always be like, where are they? I want to know what you have that I have not seen before. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have that the arcade I like going to, doesn't have? And there wasn't
I remember-
wasn't ever much, but there were some games, there were some rhythm games that just I've seen once and then never saw again. So
The first time I went to a round one, like I didn't know they had like, okay, so on 3DS I love that game, Theater Rhythm. I didn't know they made an arcade cabinet. Like the first time I ever went to a round one, like I go around the corner to that rhythm game section, I'm like, okay, yeah, Beat Mania, okay, that's used to that. Pump It Up, okay, yeah, I'm used to seeing that. DDR, okay. And then I was like, what's this one next to? Wait, is that a Final Fantasy song? And I look at the banner, I'm like, oh. There's two theater rhythm cabinets next to each other. I'm like, can I take one of these home? No one will miss it, I promise.
nobody even knows it exists.
You know, like you could play the whole 7+ minute long One Winged Angel. I'm like, wait, really? It's the only song you're ever able to play in that, and for the set, you got pump, some more credits in after that. But I was like, wait, you literally let me play the entire thing on this? Alright. I'm just like singing along to it while I'm playing. People are walking by with their kids, like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Kenyon, what
Good
about
Good
you?
times.
Was it the first section I'd go to,
Yeah,
or what
what's
was I
the
looking for?
first when you walk into an arcade? What's the first section you're looking for?
What's the one you beeline to?
Mm,
Like it's your mission to find this section, and you're disappointed if they don't have one.
well, I mean,
I
just
thought it'd be
them having-
pinball for you, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You would say.
for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Well, well, not every arcade had a pinball that I was at. I mean, for me, I'll just talk about pinball for a second. It would be, I would go to my local arcade, which I knew, and it was out of order, not like Steve was describing where everything's in place. So like, I would go looking for the beat 'em ups and fighting games and side-scrolling games, which were in the one room, like all the way in the back. There were some in the main area. You kind of like went down a ramp, and then pinball machines. They lined like the wall outside of the arcade cabinet room. So once I got done, once I got tired of the sides, the beat 'em ups and like Street Fighter or whatnot, I would play on the pinball machines, and I don't know, I was just in a trance with them. Like there was never, I don't remember anybody ever being around them, and there was like literally like a line of like 8 to 10 of them just chilling against the wall. Ones that people, will kill for today. Like everybody says they want an Addams Family cabinet. I remember playing it there
Yeah.
all the time. There was an Elvira machine I like to play. When Terminator 2, they had a Terminator machine. So I would spend, and I think they still cost like 2 tokens. I had to ration them out because again I had a $10 token bag which wouldn't last. You got two token games, 1 token games. So I try to make everything stretch as best I could.
Yeah.
If I went to like any other arcade like that wasn't the one that I knew, I would bypass all the racing games. I don't really like racing games like Rad Racer and all that. Probably my least favorite genre. But if they had the ones like Outrun and those, I would go right past it. Cruising USA, walk right past it. What's the one?
You wouldn't play Daytona?
Daytona.
Well, you know what it was? I would bypass those because those would cost like 4 tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like it's cutting into my Street Fighter 2 time, you know. So those games, anything like that's big risk, and I wasn't that great at them. So that would be what I would walk past to get to anything that was like in a normal arcade cabinet.
Mm-hmm. Man,
What about you, Jeremy?
For me, I'll say like I do look for the pinball machines. Like the Addams Family is an amazing one. But like I try to find, especially these days, just trying to find like older games like your Galagas, your Pac-Mans, your Space Invaders, stuff like that. And of course, I'm looking for like things I have nostalgia for, like Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 2. But I just like these days when you go to arcades, it's all like ticket game, ticket and prize type games. So I'm just looking for the section that has like real games, and a lot of places will have like the one Galaga machine. It's usually like Miss Pac-Man and Galaga that sits in the corner. And they might have like one pinball, but it's hard to find in the smaller, at least the smaller arcades, just regular games that aren't like ticket games.
And my that arcade that I went to as a kid, I think maybe like a couple years back, I went back to see if it was still there, and it's still there, but it really looks like a very kid-friendly Dave and Buster's type, like all the games. That arcade room that I would go to play like the beat 'em ups and stuff, that's like a laser tag arena. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of sad looking at it, just like changed it, like there was no arcade games in there. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's a different generation.
Yeah,
playing
I remember
games,
Chinatown Fair suffering a similar fate. Rest in peace, Chinatown Fair to this day. I was thankfully glad to actually walk in there once while they still had all the fighting games up, and then I walked in there again years later. Nope, to all ticket games mainly. I'm like,
Now, not that I didn't play ticket games as a kid. I played the skee ball.
Yep.
And they had the one where you kind of like in the casino where you drop a coin, you try to get money, you drop a token, push tokens off and get tickets. I still got all my tickets. But collecting tickets, I never ended up handing them in. Saving up for a GI Joe truck.
What's the most amount of tickets you guys have ever saved for a prize at an arcade?
Like literally, I have bundles. I remember.
what was
I don't know if
Dave
they're
and
still
Buster's
there.
charging?
I had a shoebox with
12,000. Yeah, something like that. So, for me, I didn't get into ticket games as an adult. Like, there was a Kung Fu Panda ticket game that's in there now to this day. But like when it first came out, right? For some reason, like the whole, the 6 panels, 3 on each side, like for some reason, I'm like, oh, this like, even though I'm not doing martial arts anymore, this is kind of, this is kind of cool.
I got the jackpot on that game, by the way. I was with Reggie, and it was like first try. I was like just hitting it, whatever. My reactions were just so on point. I got the jackpot on it.
Yeah, so I figured out the science for it, like after a while, because I just kept playing it. So like it was like, so you win the first one, and then you lose the second one on purpose, because if you win the second one too, they add another one of those little nuts or whatever at the end.
Okay.
And if you keep winning on the second or third try, they won't even put out the last one.
Oh, I'm getting the strats right now, right?
Yep. So like you win one, then you lose it, then you win it, then you win it again. So the counter reset once you lose. So and then then so like I saved it like
Yeah, I think I gotta
12,000?
get going, guys.
and I got
Bye,
Diablo
Jeremy.
3.
Have a good night,
Take
Jeremy.
Take care, Jeremy.
We'll catch him with the last question I have to ask another.
Cool. Yeah, and I got Diablo 3 on Xbox with it, like Xbox One. Like just using that strat. I'm like, I gotta buy something.
Man.
Because the one I really wanted wasn't there. I think it was like the Call of Duty at the time. So I'm like, what? I'm not leaving this prize or without a game.
Until I got something.
Yeah, but now those little touch pads are shit. Like I went in there last time, I'm like, oh god, no one's taking care of this one. I see.
Man.
It's been beat up too much.
People been punching it, going too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one final question for the night. This one is
Yeah.
not about arcades. This is another Ask Everybody question because I like the answers that we've been getting. What is your dream fighting game?
Ooh.
Dream fighting game.
Like, by dream, I mean, like, this game, you would fucking lose your mind if it came out, but you know damn well it's probably never gonna happen. This is a dream come true for you.
You know what I honestly like to see? Since on those like little developer like roundtables and stuff, like Harada's always trying to get like the Sega guys to make another VF. Like I would legit like to, and since VF said, hey, you know, here's Tekken themed stuff for like you know like the Ultimate Showdown or whatever.
I know what you're about to
I
say.
seriously like to see a Tekken versus VF. Like not even kidding. Like you know. Adjust the buttons, you know, to 4 buttons for the VF cast if you can. Yeah, easy enough. But like, man, I think that'd be awesome. Especially to see Akira's damage output. That's why I'm really wondering. I'm like, are you gonna keep him the same damage output? Because he would be like the worst one and so broken.
Would you prefer to see it Tekken characters in a VF style, or would you prefer to see the VF characters in a Tekken style?
I feel I would want to see it with the Tekken characters in the VF style.
Yep. Okay.
Be pretty
That's what I would
clean.
say too.
Be clean.
Because I feel like it's like, with the way the VF engine is, it's like, yeah, you can do juggles, but it's really not focusing on that, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, it almost kind of forces you to like look for different routes. Like, okay, how do I beat out this normally? You know, like I'm not looking for a launcher. I'm looking for like, okay, what do I do to get the shake stun, as I call it, where you have to shake out with the controller. Like, what do I do that leads to this? And if I do launch him in the air, what slams him back down on the ground, kind of like the old bind style, like Tekken 6, because VF Ultimate Showdown still has that. And then you can rebounce them too, depending on, and like everyone has wall throws and things. Like I'm like, I would love to see that, because they have some things that Tekken doesn't, and then Tekken has some things that VF doesn't. So I'd love to see the translation either way.
Right.
But like I would want them to keep their same power level, unlike what DOA did to the VF characters. Like that was trash. But I was real upset about that
It
one.
was, but I have to give them credit. They made Kula look really fucking good.
Yeah. The character designs, DOA was always on point with those. But I'm like, oh, Akira got really watered down.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then Sarah did. I'm just like, oh. And I'm just like, I'm like shuddering at like every single character I'm looking at. Like, oh no.
All right. Well, Kenyon, what about you, my friend?
This is a challenging question,
It
only
is.
because my dream game has been made.
Damn it.
What game is it? What game?
Hey,
You say it, so
are
I
you-
won't have to answer, and I'll answer with my other answer.
Are you talking about the Wu-Tang game?
Yes,
Yeah. Kind of
it
figured.
already exists.
All right.
Tell the
I see you
audience.
fanboying
So-
it. Fanboying.
So that game don't count. No.
I know it doesn't count, but but
This game
It
will
does.
never come out.
it's out.
No. Like the game, it doesn't count if it's out. That's not no. It's out.
Oh, okay. So it won't come out.
It's a dream game that you know is most likely never ever going to happen. Like
I got an
don't-
option
like
too.
don't get me wrong, Virtual Fighter Cross Tekken is definitely a realm of possibility, but
Yeah.
it's nothing like that's ever happened before for that kind of stuff. So, but Kenyon, what would I'll let Steve do his backup option too, because I'm actually really interested to hear it.
Yeah, go with
But,
that one.
What do
All
you
right,
think?
so it's not me just being an old man here. Like they legit had a movie or an anime movie literally like a year ago on Netflix. Hear me out with this one.
This is gonna be a treat.
Arc System would do it, right?
Mhm.
because they've been picking up all these random like anime licenses all over the
I
place.
was about to say Castlevania.
No, I would love to see a fucking Sailor Moon fighting game,
Just make
like
it
a
good.
real, like legit one.
Just make it
Yeah,
good, yeah.
like
Evo story time.
Oh my god.
Evo story time. So I entered the random tournament.
Yeah.
The first game I had to play, I had no idea what it was. It was Japanese. It was really cool. I lost. The second game I had to play was that shitty fucking Sailor Moon game, and I was so angry.
Was it the Saturn one or the Super Nintendo?
No, it
one?
was that trashy, busted Super Nintendo game.
Oh, I heard that was broken. as
It
fuck.
is trash. Like, you could
Ugh.
pick that top tier, like, I think it's like Sailor Mars or whatever, and the game is still
Trash.
trash. It is still
Trash.
trash. I don't care. All you poverty friends out there, that game is pure fucking trash. I hate that game.
Trash. Trash.
That is by far, like, top 5 worst fighting games ever made.
I'm
So
gonna get it
bad.
for you for Christmas.
It is so bad.
How bad is it?
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
Trash.
I've heard some bad things about that one.
Like,
The Saturn one is terrible too. Like I had it.
It can't be on that level, dude. Like that game
Yeah.
was so bad.
Okay, so it was trash for different reasons. So like the Super Nintendo one sounds like it's just like on a more broken level. Like, but no, like the Saturn one, like the play control was so terrible. Like it was so hard to get anything out. So like, even though I've been collecting the Saturn fighting games and stuff like that one, I'm just like, you gotta go.
It was so
I was like, I'm
bad. Dude, the fucking inputs didn't even work right. Like it was so
yeah,
bad.
same on Saturn.
It was just so bad. Like, oh, you want to do any sort of fireball? Here's jump kick. Like, oh, how did I get jump kick out of pressing down?
I know.
It was so bad.
I feel like Arc
But-
System would definitely put some love and care
If,
into it.
if Arc Systems ever got their hands on that IP, I'd play the shit out of it because it'd be a
Me
good.
too.
It'd be a good game. Because I
I
don't
would
think
ma-
I've
I
ever
would main
played.
Jupiter day one.
I don't think I've ever played an Arc Systems game that I truly think it is bad. Like everyone knows, I don't like DNF Duel that much. I don't think necessarily it's a terrible game. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever played an Arc Systems game that I don't like in some way or form. Maybe if I go way back before it was like Arc System Works and it was like Sammy and all that shit. But even then, I can't think of a game that I don't like. Maybe that
I
one.
didn't like
Maybe
I didn't
that
like Azuka.
maybe that guilt.
Azuka was
That,
the only one I didn't
maybe
like.
that Guilty Gear game for the Game Boy Advance.
Uh,
Yeah, that's about it. It's still better than Sailor
Portable
Moon for the
Guilty
Super
Gear?
Nintendo. Yeah, there was a Guilty Gear game for the Game Boy Advance, and it wasn't very good.
Azuka was my black sheep out of the
Isn't
Guilty
that
Gear
the
series.
one where
Like
you could
Azuka
play
could
with
die in the fire.
4 people on the screen?
Yep, and there was a button
Yeah.
to turn yourself around,
Yep.
and then you could literally play like with four of the same character on the screen. Like being sandwiched between two Sauls is trashy.
the only
That's
thing-
all I'm saying.
The only thing that I find fun about that game is you watch a tournament for it. It's some like a 2-on-2 tournament. It's some of the most batshit crazy crap you'll ever see.
Oh man,
It's
I
like
believe
Smash Brothers on crack.
it. I definitely believe that one.
But I think I've give Kenyon enough time. As my rant is over, don't play Sailor Moon for the Super Nintendo. Keep
We'll
your
get it for you for
keep,
Christmas.
keep all your brain cells, people. So Kenyon, what would be a dream game?
Okay. Can I lead up to it?
You can if you want to.
with the-
I like
the-
lead
the
ups.
runner ups. Okay, so the first thing I thought about, and there's no game, but I guess to put number 3, I would like to see the creators of Cuphead do a fighting game. Just curious what they might come out with. What it would
Skullgirls too.
look like.
Right?
I don't know.
They could do it.
Well, I'm curious what any game next project they put together, but like, what would they come out with a fighting game? The second was a game that I thought would exist some years ago, Do you guys remember the show, the cartoon show, the Boondocks?
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
I also I know I agree with you. I don't understand how they don't have like even
I
like
would-
a Flash game.
When it was out, I was like, because they do. There's a lot of. Have you seen it, Rick?
Oh, the Boondocks, yeah.
Yeah. There's all the fight scenes and all these characters, and when they fight, it's like an anime martial arts fight, and I'm like, how is? I was like, there's enough characters for a game. Like you said, Flash game. I was
So-
like, maybe something on the
I
website.
have one
but-
more Evo. I showed you the picture of it that you reminded me of it, but I'll let you finish before I talk about it. It's a game that's coming out soon, and I recommend everybody try it.
But the dream game came to mind because there was a version. It was a game on Atari that I got as a kid for, I don't know if it was Christmas or birthday, and it didn't work, and we had to bring it back to the store, and we got another copy. I think the game was malfunctioned, so I've never seen a game for it. Maybe there's one that exists. I don't know, but I definitely believe it should be a fighting game. Roster, and everybody would be excited if it's done right. Masters of the Universe.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, who do you want to make it?
I gotta dig into who do I want to make it? Whoever's good. See now, what should
Listen,
it be?
I'm only asking
I'm
this because
thinking-
Steve gave me his answer on who he wanted to make the Sailor Moon game. Who do you want to make the Masters of the Universe fighting
I can see
game?
it would have to be those the Arc Systems, since they did the Dragon Ball. If we're
Okay.
going with the cartoon look, unless we're going like a hypo realistic, then I'd probably say NetherRealm.
I would think
Ah,
you were gonna say
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say NetherRealm.
Probably should be NetherRealm because that could be like Dragon Ball, Masters of the Universe, Mortal Kombat. Everybody
there's-
would be on that.
The visuals NetherRealm does put out is pretty
Is amazing.
pretty excellent. Yeah.
Shoot, if they come out with a Masters of the Universe game with their announcement,
You're the real Godfather then. You can even tell the future.
You
Yeah.
know.
they'd be like, "What? You can play that clip. Play this clip back." But yeah, there's enough characters in that to just go wild. What do you guys think?
Masters of the Universe versus the Thundercats.
Oh shoot.
Be
Raining
wild.
Panther, day one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Skeletor.
Eh.
Yeah.
What was in the Thundercats? What was the little cat's name?
I can't
The little
remember.
like
I can't
mascot.
remember.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Thundercats. Ho!
Lion out. Snarf.
Lem-
Yeah, Snarf.
Yes. Yeah.
Snarf, snarf,
Let
snarf,
me be,
snarf,
let me be a
snarf.
snarf main.
I remember that. I want Smurfs versus the Snorks.
Right.
Oh man. Choose your side.
Who are you? Are you a Snork or a Smurf?
80s
So I-
tune warfare.
I feel like I would definitely be on the snork side.
I would too. They just look cooler.
They look cooler.
No, Kenyon, you just. I think your microphone cut out. Everyone else is still here, so. But so the game that me and Steve actually sat down and played the there was like a indie table. It wasn't even a table. It was like an entire section of indie games that are like in development.
Yeah.
So we sat down and played this game called Fighters Force 5, I believe is what it was called.
Love
The
it. Love the name
characters
already.
literally look like they're from the Boondocks. It's a simplified game. It's like 5 buttons, and one of them's a jump button. It was really interesting. It was really fast-paced. It had kick-ass visuals. You should look into it. It looks a lot of fun. It was hard to get used to at first because we couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. We were just pressing buttons and the characters are doing all this really cool looking shit.
Yep.
But it was very fast paced. Hang on, Kenyon can't hear us.
I told him to rejoin the voice chat.
I just told him. Another game we played. We got to play the Jay and Silent Bob beat 'em up. That was really cool.
Oh,
That was cool.
did you?
Yeah, that was cool.
That's
I have a
awesome.
video of it. It was really cool. I don't know. Steve might know this one. There's on the Dreamcast there was a game called Slave Zero.
Yeah.
They're finally making a sequel.
Oh wow.
An indie team picked it up. It was pretty. It was pretty sick. And you guys don't. And Steve probably knows. You know what Bushido Blade is?
Yeah.
So there was a demo for a game. I don't remember what it was called. It was a PS5 game, and it was basically a new Bushido Blade.
Can hear you now,
Can
can
you
you?
hear you now, can you?
My last thing I asked is, "What did you guys think about it?" And then it was like nothing. I was like, "I guess they don't like it."
We were actually like going off.
I missed it.
We
I
brought
was
up
in the
other stuff
recording.
too, like
I have to go
Smurfs
back to
versus the Snorks, and no, I was just telling everyone about like the games me and Steve got to play at Evo at like the indie tables.
Mhm.
The
Okay.
one when you were talking about the Boondocks, the one it's called Fighters Force 5 or some iteration of those three words. You look it up. It was a lot of fun. It was interesting. It was batshit crazy. There was so much shit going on, but it's one of those simplified control fighting games. I believe it's on Steam. You can like pre-order it or something. Maybe I don't remember what the guy said, but we played the Jay and Silent Bob beat 'em up. I sent you the pictures
saw
of that.
that.
That was awesome.
That's been
Such a
Waiting for that for a long time.
such a cool game. And then they're giving Slave Zero a sequel. And there's some new game that's like a new Bushido Blade type deal that we got to play. It's a PS5 game.
Yeah, this-
Punch Planet was there, but that's nothing new.
Is that out? Punch Planet?
Yeah,
or is it in beta still?
Punch Planet's been out. They did have Them's Fighting Herds because it's coming to consoles later this year. But
I will get
yeah, it was cool to walk around the indie table and just see what these new guys come up with. There was some other one. We didn't really look at it much because it was like a Smash clone, and wasn't really interested. It was very simple. They were like stick figures, and I think that's what threw it off for me. I don't like when games go that simplistic. I think it's boring as hell. I like character
Agreed.
variety. But it's an indie team, so they obviously don't have a ton of money. So,
Yeah.
But that Fighters Force 5 game, that really well animated, characters have really good personalities. Check that game out. They didn't really say what it was coming out on. I know it's gonna be on Steam. They didn't really say about like Switch or anything, but I'd assume it'll come out on the Switch because everything usually does now. But looking good for the future of fighting games, man.
True.
And I swear to God, if they come out at the Game Awards and they say they're making a frickin' Masters of the Universe game, Kenyon, I'm quoting that shit.
Right.
I'm quoting that shit.
You got any lotto numbers while you're at it?
Who has not thought of that
Mega
already?
Millions?
Give the people what they want.
It's not.
Yeah,
It was Tekken 8 wasn't a thing all along.
Right.
Masters of the.
It's all
Oh,
smoke
man.
screen.
The Tekken people would be so angry.
That's definitely my dream game, and I'll be thinking about that.
Masters of the Universe,
Forever
starring
now.
Kazuya from Tekken.
Right? You know, just randomly out of nowhere.
I mean, they like doing that. I mean, how many games has Terry been in now? In
Oh,
everything.
geez, they've hoarded Terry out. They even made him a woman for the
Yeah, I
runs.
know. That game was terrible.
You know what the funny thing is too? Like it was, but then you catch a random video on YouTube, like like someone had a tournament in Japan, and then I'm like, oh, they're actually doing like stuff.
Yeah. God. I remember I searched high and low for a physical copy of that game, and I'm so glad I never found one.
Didn't you have one at the store?
We did, and I refused to buy it because the game is so bad.
That's kind of like my thought
You-
process with
you
Nitro Plus
can-
Blasters. Like,
you
I wanna burn the
cannot-
CD.
You cannot block low in that game. It's
Nope.
not a thing. So like, if you're gonna throw out lows, you win the match. You can't block low. And, like the game's missing a core mechanic.
Yup.
I can't block. What do I do? I don't know. Just stand there.
Mhm.
God. I'm so glad KOF 15 is not fucking garbage like that game.
Speaking of things we consider side games and just random games with fighting game characters in it, like I got a last question.
What's up?
At least for me for tonight. What's the one game that you didn't expect to be good because it had fighting game characters in it, but it wasn't a fighting game? Technically.
Repeat that again. Say that again.
What's the one game you didn't expect to like, but it had fighting game characters in it?
That game they made for Nina.
Death by Degrees?
Yes. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed that game. It's not a good game by any means.
Oh, I know, but yeah, had like a cheesy charm to it, I guess.
It did.
I see where you're going with it.
It was like, this is what Nina does when she's not fighting in the tournament. Okay.
So a fighting game that had non-fighting game characters in it.
So a game that had like a game that had fighting game characters in it, but it wasn't technically a fighting game.
I mean, if you want to count modes, like that mode in Tekken 6 was still pretty cool.
You know what I okay, so there was one that I saw at first in like it was Game Fan, because they had a big art all over the cover for it. It was called Cannon Spike on Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And I'm like,
I forgot about that.
yeah. But at first, like, I didn't think it was gonna be. Like, I'm just looking. I'm like, wait, this is a shooter? Oh, this is gonna be trash. But I bought it. I ended up loving the thing.
I forgot all about
Absolutely
Cannon
loving it.
Spike. That game was interesting, man.
It was wild. Like, I loved every last bit of it, though.
I want to say I had the game, but I didn't play it. I found it amusing more than like better than I thought. I don't know where I got it. Remember the Dead or Alive volleyball game?
That's another good one.
Yeah. Yep, all three of them.
That was in my household, and I was just like,
I had no
definitely watched
shame.
that
I did
game.
not care.
I streamed that game. I streamed trying to win Mary Rose's heart, and I fucking failed miserably. She hated me.
In fact, I still periodically try to scheme ways to get the online only, like through the web page thing. I'm still trying to get that to work.
So the third one had a VR mode that they had to patch. It was so fucking funny.
Oh no!
You used to be able to smack them. It was so bad. So if you can like get your hands on a super old PS4 that's never been updated, you can play it.
Oh no!
But if your PS4 has been updated past version like 1 point, I think it's like 1.06, like in the beginning, you cannot do it. But yeah, they used because you're like in a hotel room, and they're sitting on a bed, and you used to be able to walk up and like just smack them. You smack them wherever you wanted to. It was so fucking funny.
Oh my god!
And then Sony in general was like, you have to patch that, or we're not selling your game. So they fixed it.
Oh.
It's one of the it was just so bad. It was like, I wouldn't even do that.
Right?
Like, everybody's been
It's
giving me
weird.
shit lately because I want that Chun-Li statue, but I don't go that far.
You know,
Fuck you guys.
I think
Man.
my honorable mention game though, which is also dear to my heart, but you have to play it 2-player to actually enjoy this game. If you play it 1-player, it's just gonna be trash. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
2-player,
That's what I was-
that game becomes real amazing, real quick. You could volleyball enemies to each other over and over again. Like, this is dumb, but I love it. They just find ways to keep the enemy in the air at that point.
I don't know if I played that game. What is it? What system's that on?
PS2.
PS2.
I don't know.
To beat 'em up.
We have a copy at the store, I think. Pretty sure we do.
How many Mortal Kombat games like that do they have?
There's a couple.
That was
There's a
you had
really,
Mortal
really bad
Kombat,
PS1 game.
Shaolin Monks.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
had
say,
those.
are we counting the PS1 attempts?
That was so bad, man.
Oh, Mythologies was terrible.
No, the other one. The one with Jax.
Oh, wait. Yo, I know the other one you're
That
talking
game makes
about.
that Sailor Moon game I was trashing on look good.
We're gonna get you
Special
that.
Forces, was it?
Yeah, that game's terrible.
Oh,
That
Oh.
makes the Sub-Zero game look like a masterpiece. And that game was trash too. Especially the 64 version. But yeah, the Shaolin Monks was really good though. So was Mortal Kombat carts. I wish they'd just make Mortal Kombat carts.
right.
They need to put that in the next game,
So good.
just for the hell of it.
Combat chess. I miss that stuff. Well, we're way over time limit, but it was worth it. A lot of fun.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed.
This is
It was fun.
the longest table yet. But good answers. Some of those I'd love to see a Boondocks fighting game. That'd be sick. I'd love to see Arc System Works just make more anime games in general.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I thought they said something like they wanted to start pursuing more licenses. I'm like, hey,
JoJo.
eh?
JoJo. Just saying.
Yeah. Let's make a less broken one than the one that they tried.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my god, that PS2 one had something wrong with it. You should put a straight jacket just on the actual case to the game. Like that game was crazy. Every time I see one of those like "Will it kill" videos from like Sage, I'm like,
So-
where did he pause it? I'm like, they're dead.
So
Like-
during Street Fighter, he did one of those live. On
Yeah.
if you were watching the stream, you obviously couldn't see it. But he came out with the microphone and he's like, "Alrighty, live room. will it kill?" And they did like 4 or 5, and he hands the mic back to whoever the hell it was, and he's like, "I gotta go before Capcom finds me," and he runs away
Oh shit.
because him and Capcom don't have the best track record.
Oh no.
Well, when you call out their netcode and they get offended.
Oh, true. He gets put on the hit list.
Yeah, no,
If the shoe,
it was
if
fun
the
though.
shoe fits, eat it.
He just literally came out and he's like, "Alrighty, live room." I'm like, "Oh my god, fucking Sage."
Yeah.
It's so funny. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on, guys. I know Jeremy can't hear me right now, but thank you, Jeremy, for coming on as well. We will ask him the dream game question whenever he's available.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure he has just as interesting of an answer as we all had. Any last words from anybody? Anybody?
This was great. I feel like I live nostalgia talking to you guys, and I love hearing all the old stories.
I got an after credits question if it's allowed.
Sure. Go ahead, shoot.
Most underrated system for fighting games. We're not talking like Xbox One and PS4. We're talking like below that.
Underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
That's a tough one, man.
Like think of the most gems you've seen. Like just like, oh my god, this has this has that, this is that. It's crazy.
It's a shoot between Dreamcast and PS1.
yeah, I gotta go Dreamcast on this one, and because like Dreamcast never got its time to shine, and that's the only reason why I feel.
Yeah, for me, I feel it's Dreamcast and Saturn. Like the more
Yeah.
I collect on these Saturn games, it's like they had a lot of games that were actually like pretty much finished. There was an option to just switch right in English and be full English. I'm like, guys, really? But they never came out here. It's just like
Yeah,
all you had to do was just ship some over. But yeah,
But-
those two for me, Dreamcast and Saturn.
I'd have to like fully go like final answer is Dreamcast though, just because I personally have so many memories with that system, for not just fighting games but games in general.
Oh yeah, I know. It was just sad because like you could burn the game so easily. Once one person found out, we had the internet by then, and everyone found out, and that hurt it so bad.
Super bad.
Mm-hmm.
So many good games. I really hope Capcom comes through and does the whole 3D collection thing.
Yeah, me too. Like, I would love to play some Project Justice or even some Star Gladiator 2, to be
You
honest.
have
Like,
no idea. Like, we fired up Star Gladiator in the store once, and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" And my heart was like, "Oh, man, I really am old." Did you know that that game was supposed to be Star Wars?
yeah, I found that out too. I was watching one of those Matt McMuscle's What Happened
That
videos.
game was supposed to be Star Wars, and the Star Wars game they got made was pure trash.
Masters of Terrorist.
And
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
Star
no.
Wars never got another fighting game ever again.
Good, because
remember that.
oh man, that was the trashiest PS1 fighting game I'd ever played.
That was rough.
Easy, Terrorist Kasai. Yeah.
Another one's coming.
Just
3D.
stop.
It's gonna be like Soul Calibur.
I mean, Namco could just make one at this point. Kind of the same way I feel with NetherRealm and just an all horror icons fighting game.
Yeah, Honan, we're still going. It's kind of just
I'm
like I can't stop talking because it's just too damn interesting.
Can't
Right.
stop.
Too many
Can't
good
stop, won't stop.
questions, too many good answers, too many good ideas.
Yeah,
So much agreeing on what's shit and what's not shit.
you know.
Ever play Battle Arena Toshinden?
Kinda.
Yep.
That game's
Uh,
trash
not-
too, but I like it.
I found out there's a fourth. Found out there was a fourth one supposedly. I was like, I only played the first
Mm-hmm.
3. I'm like, oh. All right.
Yeah, the Bizbo told me about it, so shout
We
outs
didn't talk.
to the Bizbo.
We didn't talk about. Nobody beats the Biz. We didn't talk about Karate Champ all night.
I was waiting for you to bring it up, and you never did. I'm kind of disappointed.
Nobody beats the Biz.
I can bring it up right now. The first time I played Karate Champ, I was on a trip as a kid. I think I was in Barbados. And at the hotel, they had a small arcade of 3 games, and Karate Champ was there. And I was like, that game sucked. Because my friend had it for Nintendo, he got it. Back then, it was like, if you got a game, I got a game, he got a game. If he got a game, any kid that got a new game, we were going over and we were playing it. So it's like a new game, community gaming at its finest. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was making sure I didn't get cut off. So I was like, this game sucks. But I was like, I can't not try it because this is the only arcade that's here. This is the 3 games in the hotel. So I tried it and I was like, it has the two joysticks. Now the one that you see like One Up Arcade they made, that's Karate Champ 1, and you'll fight in the dojo and then you'll fight at like US Olympics. The one that I played, you fight in different locations, like the woods, like a street, there's like a sunset, there's like a number of locations, and you fight for like a princess, but like there's like a girl like in the center, and you like collect them and you get points for each one you collect. And I guess that's Karate Champ quote unquote 2. But playing it with the 2 joysticks, because that's the only way you can do the spins and punches and sweeps, I was like, oh, this game totally makes sense, and I like loved it. And then when I came back and found it for Nintendo, I can play the buttons. I was like, oh, okay, now the controls make total sense. They're not the best controls, no, but from playing it, the arcade version, it just made sense.
You know, I feel I had the same control scheme. Now I think about it.
Kung Fu.
Kenny, you ever play Best of the Best Championship Karate on Super Nintendo?
I did not own that one. That was one of my want
it was
list.
so good. It was good. It was good.
That was a want list before. What was it? For the crowd, for the people that don't know, when games came out, if you didn't see it in your stores, you didn't own it. Certain Super Nintendo games that I wanted as a preteen, I did not see them in like the Wiz. It was like the Best Buy back then. Remember that?
Yeah, oh, the Wiz. Yeah, I remember
Wiz.
that.
Where Crazy Eddie's where the prices are.
Insane.
That was great.
I used to always laugh at that commercial as a kid. Like, what's this guy doing? How do you let him on TV?
He's insane with these prices. He's just smashing stuff. But
Yeah.
if you didn't see those games, you didn't get them. So like that game, I never saw it in a store to buy it or to ask for it. It wasn't like you can order it off the internet or anything like that. I remember the art from reading it, seeing it in a magazine. How was it?
It was real nice. It looked kind of like, You know the graphics flashback and Out of This World had.
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but you have so many moves to be able to do. Oh, I was surprised. Like I had a lot of fun with it. It was definitely rented quite a bit in my house, but I never actually outright bought it. But I re-rented it quite a lot.
Yeah, I never saw it in a store. Never saw it. That's how it was back then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah,
where we're
Batman.
gonna end it on a sad story. It's 11:30 now. We are
Holy cow, 2.5 hours.
2.5 hour
Go-
interview.
Goldfire once more. You
No,
better come to the store
this
and
was
talk with us.
awesome though. Good questions.
It really was.
This was fun.
Had a lot of
It's-
fun.
It's fun to get part of the older
Thank
generation.
you for inviting me.
Yeah, of the scene in here and hear some stories. I mean, I have stories of my own too. I know I'm not as old as everyone else was, but I have my stories. Like I said, I'll never forget that guy's face. It's like the highlight of my fucking fighting game career right there. Upsetting
The
someone
draw-
that's twice my age.
You need to draw this scene for us. as
Maybe I
art
will.
piece.
Maybe I will.
Draw you as a kid and this guy
This
getting
young,
upset.
just young Vinny and some pissed off guy.
Yep, do it.
This
do a
kid's cheating.
full color piece, and I'll buy a copy to put in a
Oh
frame.
man, this fucking
I'm serious.
get
do
good, bro.
Right.
Do it. Do it.
I will consider it. But
My
Alright,
end note for the evening. I hope we can all actually see if people want to go to Swillburger.
I'd
Want
go.
to do that? Let's make
Yeah,
that.
I'd be down for being one of the cars.
I'd go.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go.
Yeah, we could take
Let me-
like 2 cars and take a ride out there and
Just need to know a week beforehand. That's all.
Me
What
too.
else is
I
out
get
there?
my
We can go check
finances
out?
in order.
Stores or something.
There's a couple. There's
Well,
some video
you-
game stores.
you know what? You know what would be fun would be if Rochester does their monthly tournament. You know, maybe like drive up and grab lunch at Swillburger, or go and do the tournament for a little while and then hit up Swillburger on the way back. You know,
Yeah,
Maybe
that's a possibility.
I know you
I'm
guys. I
about it.
know Kenyon likes music. I know we all like music, but they have a really crazy music store out there. Fucking massive. They got like a shit ton of vinyl under like downstairs.
Oh shit.
was it Record Archive?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I've been to Record Archive.
Massive.
That's good to know. I've been
That's
thinking about getting one wall of players down the road.
that's my hometown though, boys. Rochester, New York, my hometown.
you
We can
will
go.
be the.
We can go visit Mama and Papa Sanders. Why not?
Be fun.
Mama and
Sure.
Papa Paparazzi. Let's go. Actually,
Hell
you know what's
yeah.
funny is where Rochester holds all their fighting game stuff is literally 3 minutes away from my parents' house. They are literally
man.
right down the road. You come out of my parents' house, take a left on English Road, drive that up to the next light, take a left, and you are literally at Bryan and Stratton College, where Rochester hosts all their fighting game stuff.
Is that where their upstate uproar is next month?
No, upstate upper
Okay.
is at I thought it was at like a hotel or something like that.
I think it is.
But they hosted at Bryan and Stratton, which is up the way.
Right up the
So-
way.
Which I plan on going to Upstate Uproar on that Saturday. I can't go
There you
all
go.
weekend, but I want to go up for a day and see everyone.
I might have to be co-pilot.
Be a good time. After going to Evo, I'd like to go to the more stuff, not just our stuff. So next year, Combo Breaker and CEO are looking like they're going to be on the map.
Yeah.
And Evo will be on the map if enough people want to go, but I will not go unless like 5 people go because it's just too expensive. The hotel room needs to be split more than 2 ways. It's just so fucking expensive. But that's Vegas for you.
It's Vegas.
So, but alrighty. Well, we have him here tonight. So, Kenyon, can you give us the classic send-off?
Take us
No.
home, Kenyon. Take us home.
Night and good luck.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Love
But
it.
thank you again, guys. Pretty sure I'll talk. Kenny and I know I'll see you tomorrow. I'm sure
Yep,
I'll
yep.
talk to you guys very soon. So,
Yeah, you will. I'll
Alright.
stop by.
and don't
Everybody
forget,
stop by the store.
there are no exhibitions this weekend, but we are going to be doing 3 weekends of exhibitions leading up to the local on September 10th. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have DNF
Ooh.
Duel on the 21st, Strive on the 28th, which is Strive is already filled. I'm not accepting any more entrants. And then KI on the 4th.
And remind them, Saturdays the store is
Yep.
available to
Yeah,
to play.
To play whatever you want.
Play games, bring your system, whatever. Whether it's beat 'em ups, fighting games, you got something to show off. Shoot 'em up, shmup, side scroller.
Whatever you want to play.
You can do that. Which Saturday they can do that? They can do that this Saturday.
This Saturday, if you want, from 11 to 8, the store is open.
You can ask us more gaming
Talk
questions.
to us, and got any questions? Shoot them our way. We'll got the answers.
Right on.
Cool.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, y'all have a good night.
You too.
Have a
You
good night,
had a great
everybody.
time. Thank you.